San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Cowboys have their new defensive coordinator agreeing with Christian Parker yesterday, and today, current defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton has now been requested by the Tennessee Titans to interview for their defensive coordinator vacancy. Whitecotton was on staff with new Titans head coach Robert Saleh in New York with the Jets. The Spurs, well, they got a win last night, beating the Jazz 126-109 as De'Aaron Fox led the way with 31 points.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylow.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
No, we've made it to the end of the week. It is a Friday. Conference championship weekend is upon us. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagle has this Friday off. He went from where it's going to be cold to somewhere where it's going to be stupid cold. Make that make sense. But, man, we've got a lot to talk about over the next 4 hours on this Friday afternoon, and we're certainly going to do that with you. Let's start with the obvious, conference championship games. You get a chance to call your shot. In a moment, over on our YouTube page, Pledger is going to have a poll up. Pledger's poll. Made him laugh. Make you laugh, too. And you can all go vote on this poll. Just push a little button. You could, at any rate, it's predicting who you think is going to end up in Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. You get the 2 conference championship games this weekend. Patriots and Broncos in the early game. That one's 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And then the NFC championship game, the Los Angeles Rams against the Seattle Seahawks. Pick up your matchup. Pledge will have that poll up in a minute. Obviously, there's a little typing involved, and the preparation that we did an hour ago didn't result in that being ready to go at the start of the show, but that's okay. We had other stuff we were doing. But again, you want to call your shot. This is the time to do it. Do you think the Broncos can upset the Patriots? And I say that, I know they're the 1 seed, but that quarterback issue is there. And, man, I had forgotten some of the misery that Sean Payton has dealt with as a head coach. That dude has been a part of some of the most brutal losses. Saw that this morning on Get Up. I had forgotten about some of the misery that the lovely Sean Payton has had to deal with. He does have one, but then you look at the Patriots. They're the 2 seed, playing good football, not great football, and then you start looking, their schedule is going to come into play. It is what it is. You can only play who's in front of you, but against some of the better teams, they have struggled. I think that one's going to be an interesting game. Then you get the nightcap, Rams and Seahawks. That game is going to be incredible. Those 2 teams so evenly matched. Split in the regular season, both tight games, one went to overtime. Split last year. Literally a coin toss. That one, to me, not that I want to say that's the de facto Super Bowl, but I like whoever wins the NFC ultimately winning the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks out in San Francisco. So you can now go to the YouTube page for San Antonio Sports Star. Just head over to YouTube. Search out San Antonio Sports Star if you've never been. And if you've never been, why? But if you're there, like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. Rams, Broncos, Rams, Patriots, Seahawks, Broncos, Seahawks, Patriots. That's how you could vote. We between now and 6 o'clock tonight, we are going to figure out who San Antonio thinks is going to be headed to San Francisco. Right now, it's early. It's very early, but 73% have the Sea Chickens and the Patriots meeting in San Francisco. The other 3 options are, 2 now are at 8, 1 is at 17. And that's like the obvious is, can Denver win? And unless you're a diehard Denver Bronco fan, Matt Roy, tell me why you think Denver has a chance or will get the win. Now, this is a little different than gambling. Can they cover? Do I think it'll be a closer game? Do I think it's going to be a good game? I do. But do I think the Broncos and Jarrett Stidham can beat the Patriots? That's what we want to talk about. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can also get me on Twitter at Jason Minix. But it's a Friday. It's me and you. Let's talk. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. And you kind of roll from there. It's such a fun weekend. The NFL playoffs are so incredible. Now, each week, I don't know that they get better, but they get better. The intensity, and there's so few games left. I mean, with this weekend's games, then the Super Bowl, we got 3 football games that matter left in the season. And must-see television. The good news is, as long as you keep power, you're going to be inside somewhere watching. Weather is going to suck this weekend, and we know that. So kind of a 2-part thing, participation there on the YouTube page. Saturday, there's no games. You're not going out. You're not going to do much. We're all wusses. It's going to be cold. Stay off the roads. Be safe, all that kind of stuff. What are you watching now on television? You know, now I'm going to Vegas in the morning. I'll be back Sunday night. So I'm not watching anything. So this is really for you and James Pledger and, people that are going to be stuck, not being able to go outside. But what are some of the new shows that people are watching? I know, I was doing a little digging around last night because it is that time of year. His and Hers and Hijack look like pretty good shows. I put those in my queue to save to start watching. I know there's a movie that I saw that looked pretty good called Honest Thief, another one called the RIP or R.I.P. with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You kind of know what you're getting with that. But are there some shows that you've been watching that you're like, all right, I'm done with Landman, I'm done with this, I'm done with that. What are you watching? This is the time of year where we have to help everybody else out because, quite frankly, nobody watches TV where it's communal anymore. And, and everybody has a gazillion different services, so you might not have that. Now, if you have the magic box, it doesn't matter because you get everything. Thomas Castillo says The Pit is real good. Is The Pit that hospital drama set in Pittsburgh? I think I started to watch that one time. Guillermo says is it The Rip or R.I.P. is really good. So, because that's what my wife and I were doing last night, watching the Spurs game, it was like, all right, well, because she was like, what are we watching tonight? Is anything new? And I was like, the Spurs are on, dear. And I got the look. And I said, well, the Spurs are on. I'm and so, but I know those days are coming. Guys, those days are coming. I can only, we know how it is. You have football season. And there's a couple nights she gets to decide. But you get a say in what you're watching. And what I've noticed is if I'm suggesting shows, they're far more enjoyable than if she's suggesting shows. Now, she has her list of shows that she watches when I'm not home, which is good. You certainly want to know that. So if you've got some shows you've been watching, either tweet them at Jason Minix, at SA Sportstar, at I Am Pledger. You can include at Joe Reinagle 210. That dude's sitting in the snow somewhere right now, miserable, I'm sure. He's in St. Louis, and it's nasty there. So let us know what you're watching. Drop them in the YouTube comments because it's that time. The Cowboys do make it official. Christian Parker is the new defensive coordinator. Done deal. It will be interesting now to follow who he is able to retain on his staff. Aaron Whitecotton is coaching in that East-West Shrine Game deal going on up there at the Star. And he's been requested to interview for the defensive coordinator job with Tennessee. Now, obviously, he was with Robert Saleh with the New York Jets, so there are some certain connections there. I would love to see Aaron Whitecotton stay in Dallas. Now, there was some talk, would he be the defensive coordinator? I don't know if he and Christian Parker have any kind of relationship or if Christian Parker has somebody in mind. But when you think about what Aaron Whitecotton was able to do with that defensive front once they actually got some reinforcements in there like Quinnen Williams, that was a pretty good unit. So if you could take what Whitecotton can do on the front and, Christian Parker's specialty is in the secondary, you might have a pretty good mix. It's going to be interesting to see now what the 34-year-old Christian Parker does in assembling his staff. I hope they're able to keep Whitecotton. I don't know that they will. Good sign, though, that he is getting requested to interview somewhere else because that tells you what other people think of him as well. So we'll get into that coming up in a bit. Did mention I was watching the Spurs game last night. And at one point last night, I was ready to throw the remote through the TV when Utah tied that game up early in the fourth quarter. But the Spurs did something they generally don't do in that situation. Let's talk about them pulling away and putting a team away. Coming up here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I didn't want to call Bobo and have to have a confrontation.
Just make a change?
Yeah, because you're so bitchy.
We do it all the time.
You're so bitchy, Bobo.
You always want to
Do you realize how bitchy you are? And I don't want to fight with you.
You calling me bitchy would be like me calling you a fat bastard. That's projection, dude.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, hockey fans, join the Blitz this Tuesday night at McIntyre's North Star for a Dallas Stars watch party with Flight by Yingling, proud partner of the Dallas Stars. Register to win a flyaway trip to see the Stars take on the Flyers in Philly, and you could win exclusive Flight by Yingling Dallas Stars gear.
So pregame with the Blitz Tuesday afternoon at McIntyre's North Star, then stick around to watch the Stars play the Blues. Puck drops at 7 o'clock at McIntyre's North Star with Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Flu season has arrived, and according to the CDC, doctors' visits due to flu symptoms are the highest in 30 years. You can trust Exergen's new TAT 2000C Plus to give you accurate and reliable temperature readings for the whole family with just a gentle forehead scan. The Exergen thermometer technology has been proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. And right now, the new Exergen TAT 2000C Plus is available on Amazon for less than $20. That's Exergen, EXERGEN on Amazon. Visit Amazon.com for Exergen today.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T2.
The testosterone booster?
Yeah, but it's way more than that now. It also skyrockets your nitric oxide in as little as 3 hours. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with T2, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text TAP to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of new Nugenix Total T2. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's TAP to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Product not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, back from championship weekend. We have a Super Bowl set, Rob.
Thaw your ice out, get your stuff ready. It is on the way. Super Bowl around the bend. We'll talk about how we're getting there. And oh, by the way, the Spurs had a game or two as well. Get here early, thaw out. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel is off on this Friday. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along. And you could tell from the next day promo from the Morning Huddle, it's going to be cold this weekend. I think we all know that by now. I just saw like the show tomorrow night at Sam's Burger Joint's been canceled. They're going to reschedule that. Before you head anywhere Saturday night, make sure, double check. because I do think a lot of events are going to get postponed or times are going to be adjusted. So like UTSA basketball, they're moving up the start time of that. I'm guessing that's more so, Temple can get to the airport and get the hell out of here so they don't get stuck. The volleyball deal happening at Frostbank Center, they've adjusted the start times for that. But some of these Saturday night events, double check and make sure, because the expected nastiness, you don't want to get caught. And I think some events will get postponed in an abundance of caution, right? And it's not only that, but it's for employees as well. I was over earlier today grabbing lunch for us from Mellow Mushroom, and nothing like a pregame pie. By the way, Mellow Mondays will kick off again this coming Monday. But I was talking to Peter over there, and he was like, "Yeah, it's do I need to adjust time?" And he's more worried about his staff. Younger kids driving in this kind of stuff. Do you want that? So we'll see. Yes, Mellow Mondays kick off again Monday. Every Monday you can win $50 gift cards on the Morning Huddle and on the Blitz. So stick around for that. And by the way, that pregame pie was fantastic. That was fantastic. Although might need a nap at some point now. The Mighty Meter's the best thing over there. Spurs last night, I thought they were going to do it again. I thought they were going to blow another lead and lose. They start the fourth quarter game a little closer than it should be, and immediately it goes to 99-99, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And after they tied it up, the Utah Jazz, the Spurs pulled away, and they built that lead back up to 10, and then it got to 8, then it was up to 13, and ultimately they win the game in a blowout, 126-109. So if you turn the game off or didn't watch it last night, you wake up this morning and say, all right, they blew them out, they should. But they had to work for it into the fourth quarter. The great thing was, unlike what we've seen them do, is wilt in the fourth quarter. This time, last night, they were great. De'Aaron Fox was great in that fourth quarter. They were running plays, for 2, and weren't settling for a bunch of threes that were clanking off the iron all over the place. You think about the fourth quarter in which they outscored the Jazz 29-17. They were 12 of 21 from the floor, 5 of 11 from 3. So they were taking threes, but they had a good mix in there. And you look at De'Aaron Fox scored 12 of his points. He was 4 of 5 shooting. Fox, all of those were from 3. Everybody else was connecting on the easier makeable shots. I really liked the way they handled that fourth quarter, and Mitch Johnson certainly was happy with the way his squad finished that fourth quarter.
Our execution was good late. Defense picked up there, especially in the latter part of the fourth. And so it was a strong finish with not quite as strong everything else up into that. But Utah played their butts off. Will's doing a heck of a job. So obviously they get a lot of credit for that, but was happy with how we finished the game there in the end of the fourth.
Well, and that's it. And really, De'Aaron Fox has been on a bit of a roller coaster as of late. Even Keldon Johnson said last night, that's why you brought him in here, for the big moments.
Terrific. He done showed up in so many big moments for us this season. Big-time players make big-time plays, and you can't deny that. He done did it at every level of basketball, and he continues to do that for us now when we need him most. And, without him tonight, it's a whole different game. But he'll never get the credit that he deserves. He's been phenomenal for us. He's been our leader. He's been a big part of what we're doing. And, the team wouldn't be the same without him. So, my hat goes off to him. Every day he comes in, doesn't have no ego, comes in and work. He comes out there, gives us his best every night. And, that means the world to us.
And it's true. And Keldon, 21 points off the bench. He was solid last night. but I also like the way Mitch Johnson, used some of the bench players. I mean, I had forgotten, sort of, tongue-in-cheek, that Jordan McLaughlin was a part of the team. I was surprised to see him so early, but he came in. He didn't fill up the stat sheet by any stretch, but he gave solid, effective minutes for the San Antonio Spurs. I thought Jordan was fantastic last night, and Keldon said, man, give guys like that credit. Don't play for a long time, but yet they're ready when their number is called.
I mean, those guys been working their butts off. It's been the dog days of the year, but those guys been stacking days behind the scenes. We have play groups, we have practice, and sometimes as lately, those guys don't really know when the opportunity gonna come. So to see, they come in tonight and J-Mac make a difference. German come in and give us some good minutes. Kelly gave us some good minutes. That means a lot because they've been working hard. They've been busting their butt to be able to be ready to come out here and whenever their number is called, take the opportunity. So they've been real professionals, and I want to give them their credit when credit's due, and they've been really working hard and giving everything they got, and staying true professionals. So we appreciate the minutes that they gave us and being ready when the number is called, and it was big for us tonight. We needed a change of scenery. We needed different guys in there. We needed different energy, and those guys brought it.
And they did. And Keldon deserves so much credit because there was a point where he was one of the best dudes on this team. Now, granted, the team was awful, but Pop took him to the Olympics. And I don't think he thought he would be in the role that he's in now as a key role player, not a starter, not the big dog, not the guy. Yet he has adapted to his role so well. And it started last year, but really this year he embraces it. And he's one of those glue guys for the Spurs. There was a point where if he had left, I think we'd all been okay with it. And now you wonder how tradable is a guy like Keldon Johnson. It depends on what you're getting back. Let's be honest. But you need him. And one thing that Mitch Johnson talked about when it comes to Keldon, and you hear him giving all those young guys credit. Now, I think he probably needs to come up with a different term than play groups because it sounds like they're at the daycare and, you're on this part of the playground and you're over here in this playroom, our little play groups that we have at practice. But Mitch gives Keldon Johnson a lot of credit for being the example guy for all the young players in those little play groups.
Keldon is a prime example for every player, but especially young player, a kid out there, that he's making as many mistakes as everybody. But his energy and his effort and his competitiveness and his multiple efforts to get to the next thing is at such a high level that it allows him to find a rhythm and find himself in the middle of plays. And he did a great job on Nurkic, and we changed the matchup there because we were getting hurt. He did a good job fighting them, being physical, and I just can't say enough. And it's something we got to continue to do more as a group.
Absolutely. And I think the energy word there was key. And I like that Mitch saw what we all were watching. That group lacked energy. I think that's why they went to Jordan early. And what did he bring? A lot of energy. Keldon brings the energy. Just fantastic. 126-109. But keep in mind, that game got tied at 99 early in the fourth quarter. And this team, who has made too much of a pattern of blowing leads and playing down to competition, that one looked like it was headed for a loss, which would have really changed the outlook of this show and your attitude today towards the Spurs and what would have been tweeted out last night. But whatever they did differently, whatever was said in the huddle, or I don't know, running plays to attack the basket, running high percentage plays, smart three-point shots, all of that. Making shots certainly does help. But there was a different, seemingly, focus from this team. You go back to the Houston loss and, the frustration that you heard from Victor after that. They blow another 15-point lead. He said we can learn from it. The next time out, they were damn near in that same situation, but they responded differently. You got to learn how to win. You got to develop that killer instinct. There's what you didn't see last night was the here we go again, and that turned into a loss because I really thought they were going to lose that game once Utah got it tied at 99. Thought it'd go back and forth. Whistles wouldn't go their way. You got Nurkic having a career game, it seems like, last night. Dude, but they got the win. And again, did they learn from Houston? Some of those other blown leads, maybe. But they showed that they have it. And as Mitch Johnson said, don't apologize for winning.
Yeah, I mean, they all are, right? I mean, you don't apologize for any of them. Just trying to continue to get better and continue to hold ourselves to the standard that we believe is our standard, and then also continue to get better in regards to that as well. So it's the never-ending battle, and a lot of defensive miscues and game plan execution breakdowns in terms of coverage, scheme, discipline, personnel. But again, 17 points in the fourth quarter got the job done.
And that's it. And you know, that's a part of the game that we don't talk about probably enough because we focus on the Spurs makes and misses. But they did outscore the Jazz 29-17 in the fourth quarter. So while they were running offensive sets and attacking the rim and making shots, they were also playing good defense on the other end after that game got tied at 99. And again, at one point, with 9.5 minutes or so to play in the fourth quarter, that game is tied at 99, and the final is 126-109. You hold a team to 10 points in about 10 minutes, that's some pretty damn good defense. Just saying. Saw somebody on YouTube ask, will the game on Sunday be affected by the weather? Change of time or anything like that? Nothing has been said yet. I don't know. I doubt it. The game against the Pelicans on Sunday at the Frostbank Center is scheduled for a 6 p.m. start time. By then, the weather should be fine. You should be okay to drive to the Frostbank Center. And Bill Taylor from Ken's TV is going to join us in about 45 minutes to give us the latest on what all those different weather models are showing him. But the other day when he was on and everything that I saw this morning, you know, Saturday night, late Saturday, when the temperatures drop below freezing and we have the rain, into Sunday morning is going to be bad. But by Sunday afternoon, the temperature's going to be in the mid-30s, so ice won't be a factor. The only thing that does concern me for the game on Sunday is, can the Pelicans get here? I'm not sure where they're coming from. I didn't look at their schedule. I don't know if they're playing Saturday, if they're playing the night somewhere. If they're playing the night somewhere and they come to San Antonio, they're going to be fine. They'll just be stuck in their hotel. But if they're playing somewhere Saturday and then flying in on a back-to-back, and somebody could look up their schedule and tell me, I don't know. But I think as long as the Pelicans can get here, that 6 o'clock start time should be fine. You know, by all accounts, everything that I've read and heard, this storm coming isn't like 2021. The flashbacks that everybody is having, worried about power, worried about water, worried about toilet paper, it doesn't feel like that. It's going to be cold. I mean, you know, take those warnings seriously, but it's going to be cold, it's going to be nasty, but it's also going to be fairly short term. So the idea of having to worry about all of the stuff like at 2021, by all accounts, this doesn't factor in. But I think the only way you see a time change or anything change would be if the Pelicans can't get here. They're playing Memphis tonight, and that Memphis is getting hammered with this same system, and they're getting it worse. So if they can get out of Memphis and they fly straight to San Antonio, which would be typically what would happen, then I think that game will be fine. I haven't heard anything. Nothing announced, but if you've got tickets for Sunday, then, obviously pay attention to the Spurs social media channels and everybody else, because if there was a change, they'd let everybody know immediately. And if you have tickets, you'll probably get some sort of update right on your phone. for your TV watching. Unless you've got two TVs, are you really watching the Spurs and Pelicans instead of the NFC Championship game? Because they're going to go head-to-head. What a poor scheduling moment there for the NBA and for the San Antonio Spurs to go head-to-head against the NFC Championship game. I don't know. Let's talk about the championship games coming up this weekend. We will do that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And you think about what you're going to see on Sunday with those two great games, and you want to make those games a lot more exciting to watch, maybe win a little money at the same time, you can do that on Underdog, the best place to make your picks and win money in Texas. And I love playing on Underdog. You pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and I'm already looking, especially at the NFC Championship game, higher on Matthew Stafford's passing yards, on Kenny Walker's rushing yards. I think this is going to be a great game. Get all your picks right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. So what are you waiting for? Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code STAR to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Flu season has arrived, and according to the CDC, doctors' visits due to flu symptoms are the highest in 30 years. You can trust Exergen's new TAT 2000C Plus to give you accurate and reliable temperature readings for the whole family with just a gentle forehead scan. The Exergen thermometer technology has been proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. And right now, the new Exergen TAT 2000C Plus is available on Amazon for less than $20. That's Exergen, EXERGEN on Amazon. Visit Amazon.com for Exergen today.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening a second location for my coffee shop this year?
I smell trouble brewing.
I needed to print new menus, loyalty cards, window signage, so I went to Staples.
That'll cost you a latte. Get it?
Uh-huh. Actually, I saved $100 on my print order, and everything looks amazing.
Well, grind my beans and call me impressed.
Staples made it easy.
If your business needs to print, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 1/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Championship weekend in the NFL. It's the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle is off today. I'm Jason Minix. You can listen to both playoff games on Sunday right here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. We got a doubleheader for you. See who's going to head to San Francisco. Starts Sunday at 1 o'clock. Patriots and Broncos. That's followed by the Rams and the Seahawks. NFL playoffs brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. And you think about Flight by Yingling, you know, then we're switching to hockey. If you're a Dallas Stars fan, a fan of hockey altogether for that matter, stop pledging. I'm a hockey fan. And there are a lot of hockey fans in San Antonio. They're just not from San Antonio, right? You know, it's funny. I'll go places all the time. Somebody's wanting to talk hockey with me. I'm a New Jersey Devils fan and a Dallas Stars fan. And the Flight by Yingling, a proud partner of the Dallas Stars, we're going to do some watch parties with them starting Tuesday over at McIntyre's North Star. And you can come out to McIntyre's on Tuesday for this watch party, and we'll have several of them. But Tuesday, we're going to do a Blitz 2 to 6. And then I'm going to stick around. I'm going to watch the game. Stars are taking on the St. Louis Blues. There's a couple things that you're going to be able to take advantage of out there at McIntyre's. One, register to win a great flyaway package to go watch the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia on March 29th, which is going to be very cool. That includes 2 plane tickets, hotel, and obviously tickets to the game. But when you're out there on Tuesday, you can win some really cool Flight by Yingling Dallas Stars gear. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you know, like this hockey jersey that I'm holding up, you could win a hockey jersey on Tuesday out at McIntyre's.
Aren't those called sweaters?
What's that?
Aren't those called sweaters?
They're called jerseys, sir. It could be called a sweater, but it's a jersey because I'm assuming a lot of people here don't understand that. This here is called a T-shirt. Yeah, they got these Dallas Stars T-shirts with the Flight logo on it. So you want a chance to win this? We got hats. We're going to have a good time Tuesday at McIntyre's North Star because as football winds down, NBA, NHL, this is when I dive in, and I feel like most of you dive in as well. I mean, I know there's games in November and December, but it becomes priority this time of year. You get into this stretch run as the calendar is about to flip to February, and then you get the chase for the cup. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you look at the Dallas Stars, they've kind of been in a little bit of a slump. They broke out of it the other night. They're still the second seed in the Western Conference, and, they've had their chances to hoist the cup this year, or in recent years. Maybe this year. That's a good hockey team. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're a hockey fan, come join us on Tuesday at McIntyre's North Star with our friends from Flight by Yingling, proud partner of the Dallas Stars. As far as the football is concerned this weekend, you can predict the winner of this weekend's game. Predict who is going to be in San Francisco. You can vote on our YouTube page. Go to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. And there's 4 options. Rams, Broncos, Rams, Patriots, Seahawks, Broncos, Seahawks, Patriots. Right now, 52% say it's going to be the Hawks and Pats. 23% say the Rams and Pats. 14% say Rams and Broncos. 9% have the Seahawks and Broncos. So not a whole lot of love for those Denver Broncos, which is understandable because of Jarrett Stidham. Now, Stidham hadn't thrown a pass that matters in a long time, but he is a guy that Sean Payton loves. Took him to Denver. Stidham has had his moments, although you got to search deep to remember some of those moments. But can he just not screw it up? If you're Sean Payton and you're putting together an offensive game plan, you cannot have your quarterback pull a C.J. Stroud. You cannot have him turn the ball over. They're going to rely on their run game and their defense. And you do what you have to do. You know, the old cliche, you want every drive to end with a kick. And if Stidham is going 3 and out and they're punting and relying on that defense, if I'm Sean Payton, I want Drake May to make the mistake. And Drake May has shown in the playoffs against good teams, he's willing to make the mistake. It's what I was so angry about last week watching the Houston Texans, and specifically C.J. Stroud, not give a damn about that football. He was reckless with the football. Last week, this same game plan would have worked, and Houston would be in this game. If C.J. Stroud let that great defense do the work, all he had to do is not screw it up. And Houston could still be playing right now. Think about that. I mean, Drake May put the ball on the ground a couple of times last week. And Denver's defense, they're not Houston Texans good. Not many are. But that's a damn good defense. And so if you're Sean Payton, all you want from Jarrett Stidham is to not turn the ball over. And by doing that, I think they're going to be a run-heavy plan or short, high-percentage passes, maybe work the screen game some. And if they got to punt it, play the field position, and hope that Drake May makes the mistake and then capitalize on that, that's how Denver can win this game. And that's how Denver is going to be able to keep this game close. They're not going to see Jarrett Stidham throw the ball 40 times in this game or 50 times in this game. And unless the Patriots jump out to a 21-0 lead, which I don't know will happen. But if you're Vrabel, if you're Josh McDaniel, you're saying the same thing to Drake May. You know, both of these teams just don't want their quarterback to screw things up. Rely on the defense. Let the other team make the mistake, capitalize on that, and get out of that stadium with a win. Now, I think most people are going to take the Patriots to win the game. Now, if you're gambling, that's another story, you know, depending on where the line ends up right now, because I think it's at 4.5. So if you've got Denver in the points, cool, because this really could be a field goal game. Up until Houston blew out Pittsburgh in that fourth quarter with a couple of defensive touchdowns, this feels like this could be that kind of game where it's 7-6, which seems like an insurmountable game, or 10-6. I could see this being that kind of game. Maybe not quite as low scoring, but I do see that being that kind of game. What do you guys think? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can also get us on Twitter at Jason Minix. I'm seeing some of the comments on YouTube. Stidham is going to pull off a Nick Foles. Nick Foles did have that great tweet the other day to Denver fans. Hey, I'm paraphrasing. The Patriots don't play well against a backup in championship games. This is so different. And that's the thing. I mean, when Bo Nix was hurt, immediately Stidham's the guy, and Sean Payton probably hasn't slept much this week trying to come up with a game plan. And then you get through that game, and then you get to the NFC Championship game, which might be the actual Super Bowl, if you will. Remember back in the day when you would play Buffalo every year in the Super Bowl? Whoever won the NFC was going to win the Super Bowl, and it kind of felt that way. This NFC Championship game feels like it should be played in a couple of weeks in San Francisco. These teams are both so damn good and so evenly matched that whichever one you pick, you could say, but I can make an argument for the other guy. And you can. I mean, there is no right or wrong on this. Whatever your gut feeling is what you're going to do. Now, generally in a big game like this, you go with the quarterback and the coach that you trust the most. Well, clearly that's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. You got Matthew Stafford, who's going to win MVP, and you got Sean McVay, who has a Super Bowl win against a second-year head coach and Sam Darnold, right? So Sam Darnold, he's the question mark, isn't he? Because we haven't seen him do it. We saw him last year win a whole bunch of games with the Minnesota Vikings and then wilt in the end under pressure. Then last week, oh my goodness, they're playing San Francisco, and you hear he got hurt in practice or did something with was he going to play? Not only did he played great. But he didn't have to play a whole lot because they took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, and it was a blowout. I mean, that game was over at the end of the first quarter. The Seahawks just destroyed San Francisco. Now, I'm going with Seattle. Home team. I like the way they're playing. I like their defense. I'd love to see Tariq Woolen get a ring, all of it. But my hesitation is on Sam Darnold. I'm no different than you. Sam Darnold, you want to see somebody do it before you really are confident that they can do it, especially when you've seen them play a lot of bad football like we have. You know, this is different than saying, well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes did it. We hadn't seen him do it, but you had the confidence that Mahomes could be that guy. Nobody's ever had the confidence, except for maybe when Sam Darnold was in San Antonio playing in the All-American Bowl before he went to USC, that he was going to be that guy. Because he did have, back in his high school days and early college years, that projection on what his career was going to be. I remember when he got drafted up in Dallas, and we were doing all this stuff with him, and he was going to the Jets talking about how they were going to turn things around, and, well, he was going to the Jets. Do you penalize everything you think about this guy for his time with the Jets? And then he's bounced around, but the last couple of years, that dude has played some incredible football. But when it's mattered most, he hasn't until last week against San Francisco. And even then, he got that early lead, all the momentum, and it was easy. So I go back a couple of weeks when they played in San Francisco, and he didn't play great football, but he played good football, and they were able to win the game because of what? Their defense. And that defense against the Rams. You know, the Rams are going to try to run the ball some. You know, it's interesting in the playoffs. Everybody talks about all the quarterbacks, but it really comes down to the run game a lot. And you think about last week's game for the Rams. Now, granted, in that weather in Chicago is what it is, but you could see Sean McVay trying to stay heavy with Williams trying to run the ball. I don't know. I think that game is just going to be an incredible football game to watch. Again, I'm taking Seattle. Would I be surprised if the Rams win? No. The only thing that would surprise me in this game is if somebody won it by 10 points or more. I mean, that would be the one surprise. And now, granted, if it's late and somebody scores to put the game out of reach, that's one thing. But if, you know, somebody goes into the fourth quarter with a 2-score lead and either add to it or hang on to it, I think that would surprise me. I think this is one of these games where every possession, a penalty here, because the refs are always going to be a part of it. And I just hope it's not a controversial penalty, an odd turnover, something. And with Seattle, their special teams are so damn good that it might be a special teams play that's the difference. I think this is going to be just a fantastic game. And then off to San Francisco. You know, trying to think. Last time I saw the Broncos in a Super Bowl was, in San Francisco. Wasn't it the Broncos in San Francisco? Yeah. Against the Carolina Panthers, Super Bowl 50. Patriots, I've seen a bunch. When I'm in San Francisco, I'd love to see Seattle. I think it's going to be Seattle and the Patriots. So to half of you listening right now that have voted on our YouTube page, Seahawks, Patriots getting 50% of the vote. Rams, Patriots right now getting 27% of the vote. The Broncos getting there have a combined 22%. Nobody is picking Denver to win. But if you're one that has the Broncos getting to San Francisco, I want to know why, other than you're a big fan. What do you think that Denver can do to beat New England? Or do you think it's more about New England and their easy schedule and they're just not going to be ready for the moment? You've got two young quarterbacks. And, man, I really wish this would be Bo Nix against Drake May. I mean, how incredible would that be? I mean, because it is, the quarterback matchups that you're looking for. And when you get to the Super Bowl, do you really want Jarrett Stidham in a Super Bowl at this point in his career? A backup? And I know, Nick Foles becomes an example, but really, I don't know that anybody wants that. And you're just kind of bummed looking at this matchup, thinking it could be Houston, should be Houston, could be Buffalo, should be Buffalo. Instead, Josh Allen is now apparently sitting in on the interviews on who's going to be his next head coach. You get all the different coaching interviews that are happening, the hires that are being made, the coordinator hires that, they're making them, unless this guy gets a head coaching job somewhere, like Mike McDaniel, like Brian Flores. I do find it interesting, though, that apparently on first round of interviews, Josh Allen is sitting in on those head coaching interviews. Now, I have no problem with Josh being a part of the process of being consulted on who he wants, but it is a little surprising that they would bring him in for all of this. And of course, they're doing these interviews in Miami because the weather's far better than it would be in Buffalo. Apparently, the owner has his Miami home. His winter home is down in Miami because, of course. And again, Josh Allen should be a part of the process. He has earned that as the quarterback. But I don't know that I would bring him in to the interview process until you're down to a couple, three that you think are the right guy, right? Now, talking to him ahead of time, sure. But I don't know. And does Josh have anything better to do with his time right now? But again, star players certainly have a say. I just thought it was odd to read that he's a part of the entire process at this point. I really thought, all right, at some point you bring him in, you go from there and see where guys are, his friends who he has relationships with, whether it's Dayball, McDonald is in there, and also apparently Phillip Rivers is interviewing for the Bills head coaching job, which, again, Phillip Rivers, he's been coaching in high school, came in and played for the Colts, and now he's interviewing to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I find that fascinating, and I'm not mad at it. It's weird because a couple of years ago, didn't McCown interview for the Texans job, and everybody lost their mind. Here's a guy that's never done it. Why? Well, because he was well-traveled, had good hair. I mean, what was the reason why everybody was so down on that? Yet with Phillip Rivers, everybody's like, man, what a great idea.
Good hair can take you a long way in life. Just ask Joe Ryan.
Well, that part is true. But, I find it odd that, like, all of a sudden, Phillip Rivers goes from he was playing 2 weeks ago, coaching a high school team 3 weeks before that, and now he's interviewing for a head coach job in the NFL. Not even coordinator, straight to being the head coach.
I've got it. Phillip Rivers. Josh Allen gets hurt late in the season. First player head coach in a long time.
It's rec league sounding stuff, isn't it? Who would know the offense better than Phillip Rivers? Now it might be 5 years from now when his insurance runs out, because when we learned that, with the 87 kids that he has, that was a well-played move by Phillip. But at the same time, of all the names, I did not expect to see Phillip Rivers as a serious candidate to be a head coach. And of all places, the Buffalo Bills, who already had a long list of seemingly more qualified candidates. Now, you take a quarterback at Phillip Rivers' level. Does he understand how football works? Does he understand all? Sure. But to not have to climb the ranks at all? I mean, I think Jason Witten at some point could be a head coach in the NFL. And right now he's the tight ends coach at the University of Oklahoma. you got to somewhat pay your dues along the way, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I think about Rivers, and the one thing that always sticks out to me is a lot of people hire these coordinators because they're great coordinators, and they don't work out as head coaches because they're not leaders of men. They don't know how to really relate to everybody in the locker room or even to delegate. And I think a head coach's best job is delegation and building a staff around you.
Well, that's true. And again, I mean, it is interesting when you look around the league at the head coaches that call plays and the head coaches that don't call plays. All of them at one point were a coordinator. And the philosophy on being a play-calling head coach, whether it's offense or defensive, some guys love it. Some guys understand they got to give it away. I remember when Mac Brown was on with us not too long ago talking about that very thing. Loved calling plays, but at some point it became too much. We were talking about that directly about the Brian Schottenheimer situation and Sark up in Austin specifically. But you look at like Philadelphia, that dude doesn't call plays. There are coaches that do that, and some that don't. Eric Bieniemy is going back to Kansas City to be a non-play calling offensive coordinator. Nagy's leaving there because he wants to call plays. And Andy Reid won't let him because Andy Reid likes calling plays. And I always wonder, what does a non-play calling coordinator actually do, right? I know they work. I know their stuff, but you make your bones being a play caller, which is why Bieniemy left, because he, wanted to be a head coach, but nobody took him seriously because he didn't even call plays as an OC. Funny how the different structures and the different personalities work when it comes to stuff like that. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star and on YouTube at the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Go vote in the poll. Predict this year's Super Bowl. All the 4 variations, options are there for you to vote on. Seahawks, Patriots right now, the overwhelming favorite. Got plenty of time to go get your voice heard and predict because it's Friday of championship weekend. Call your shot. And the one I'm curious of is if you really think the Broncos can win, I want to know why. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your holiday decor is down and suddenly your house looks very January. Kohl's can help you bring the spark back. No twinkle lights needed. Save on bedding that feels like a snow day. Decor that'll boost the mood. And Shark vacuums because, yes, you're still finding pine needles. Get an extra 15% off some of your faves store-wide. And beat those winter blahs at Kohl's. Select styles. Offer ends January 25th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to Shark. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax in Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Hi, everybody. Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas. I absolutely love the Golf Club of Texas. They've made so many improvements to the golf course, from brand new cart paths to resodding the greens and fairways. You might think it's a private club, but it's not. It's open to the public 7 days a week. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, you know where it is, right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It's championship weekend in the NFL. It's Sunday. We find out who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl in San Francisco, and you can catch both of those games right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the NFL playoffs. It starts at 1 with Denver as they welcome the Broncos into town to take on the Patriots. In the NFC side of things, we get the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Rams at 5:30.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylow.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle off on this Friday. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a championship weekend Friday. And it's going to be a crappy weekend in San Antonio. Bill Taylor from Ken's TV going to join us in about 15, 16 minutes or so to give us the latest on what those computer models are showing him. Because it does change. He was on with us the other day, and we all know that it's an inexact science, that they need to do some work. And so as we get ready for the weekend, we will get the latest on what he is expecting as far as the amount of ice that we are going to get. And by all accounts, everybody is preparing for the worst. The photos from H-E-B and Costco or Sam's are kind of comical, but I do hope you have your toilet paper and your bread and your bottled water,
eggs,
beer.
No, leave the beer. I'm gonna need that.
I'm just thinking about. Be ready. Are you? Well, I don't want to say are you grilling this weekend, but are you grilling? But what are you grilling? Are you doing a chili this weekend? Are you doing something tonight where, like a brisket where, you could munch all weekend, maybe a pork butt, because Sunday, where you would typically be able to grill and graze all day because you have those 2 football games, Sunday morning is why pellet grills are fantastic, because you don't want to be standing out by a fire and making sure your temperature's good. Everybody that makes fun of me for having a pellet grill, this is where pellet grills come in handy, right? Yeah, you know.
It's the reason for the season.
I mean, they're great always, and I don't care. I have a Traeger. I love it. I have other, have my Kamado. I have the Weber kettle. The Blackstone. I mean, have my Weber gas grill when you need something like that. I mean, I run the gamut. And I don't care what you cook on, as long as the end result is what you're looking for. And, the night that Pledge did the 72-ounce steak challenge at my house, when he failed miserably at that.
God, it was so good, though.
Well, and that's it. There was one guy there that, was making fun of the Easy Bake Oven. And he said, "You did all this on that? Damn. I might have to change my opinion on that."
It was damn good.
Well, and again, if you are used to your stick burner or whatever it is you normally use, and you've never eaten off of a pellet grill that you're aware of, I could see it. But you get your smoky flavor, you get it all. And again, as long as the end result, as long as the food's good, who the hell cares, right? How it's made. You go to some of these fancy barbecue places and you realize, man, they got propane running in there, even though there's wood, just to make sure the temperature's good. It's fine as long as you can taste the smoke. That's how it is. You can drink as much beer with the pellet smoker as you can stand into a fire, but you're not going to freeze your ass off like this weekend. I digress, but what are you grilling this weekend? Is it the cold weather stuff that you've been waiting to make for the temperature to get to a point where you can actually make this? Because I imagine there's going to be a lot of chili, a lot of different kind of stews that are made this weekend.
By the way, bravo on your first crack at chili the other day.
Yeah, well, it's fun. Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you. So I've got to do another batch this week. I'm going to do it Thursday night. I've never done chili before. One, because quite frankly, you make so much, and I just never done it. But I've wanted to. It's kind of like doing the Thor hammer. You have to have the right number of people coming over or something to actually do that. But my wife's work is doing some sort of chili cook-off next Friday. And she signed me up. And I was like, well, dude, I've never done this. So I did a test run on some chili last week. That was good. I'm going to do it again this week. We'll have a tweak or two in there, but it was good.
I like the residual heat it left.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's all kinds of comments there on YouTube. Especially Rocco. No need to stock up or need to stock up for my weed guy. Don't know if I'll make it 36 hours in this Arctic blast without it. Hey, dude, everybody's got their priorities. And you're right.
Got to load up.
You're right. I mean, whatever it is you need to get, you better get it today or early tomorrow because you are running out of time. Saturday night, Sunday, you might be screwed if you don't have it. Right now, let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Fernando Mendoza, national champion, Heisman winner, future first-round pick, first overall pick of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's making his rounds. He's such a likable dude. And I know the jokes are there that he always sounds like everything's AI, but he's likable. Well, last night, dude goes on Jimmy Fallon, and he actually says something. I don't remember hearing this in the post-game press conference. I don't know if he was making a joke or if this is real, but if it is real, and I don't know if Fernando knows how to lie, this makes that run even better.
So it's a running play, and I'm a quarterback. I'm a passer. So at first I'm like, okay, here we go. And I'm supposed to run left. And all of a sudden, some instinct tells me, let's run right. So it's like when you miss your exit on maps, and you're like, oh, shoot. Like, you're like, who? Oh, shoot, here we go. But luckily, it was the exit to a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then, like you said.
Legendary.
And then like you... And then, like you said, I saw these huge football players in front of me, and I was like a human pinball machine. I was like, boom, boom, bang, getting banged up, and all of a sudden, I'm in the air, and I'm like, might as well reach for the touchdown because I'm so banged up. I don't know if I'll be able to get up after, so here we go.
And you got back up. And you scored 10.
So he went the wrong way. Decided to go the wrong way. Or he just went there. That just adds to the legend that is. And then they had him, because he's broken so many records, Fallon was taking actual records, throwing them in the air, and he was breaking the records by throwing passes. Pretty impressive how he was doing it. And I will say, combine drill, they could do that. What they were doing last night on the Tonight Show could ultimately be part of like the Pro Bowl.
So it was like skeet shooting with a football?
Yes, exactly that. But now Fallon needs to work on his record tossing, that's for sure. But the ones that he did and watching those records smash, but there was one where Fallon is lucky that Fernando Mendoza is a highly skilled and trained quarterback, because otherwise Fallon might not be with us right now. That quick instinct, watch with your eyes, Fallon threw a record, and it went almost straight up, but it didn't go up very high, and then it was coming down by his head. He was ducking, and Fernando pulled back and didn't release that ball. Otherwise, he might have hit Fallon square in the face. Now, I know there's some of you out there that haven't watched Fallon in a long time that probably hope that would have happened, but the idea that he didn't throw that football, Fallon dodged a bullet. That is for sure. That was fun stuff from the Heisman winner last night.
I think you're onto something. Maybe not the Combine, but definitely the Pro Bowl games needs this.
Well, again, go watch it, some sort of variation of it. It was fun. It was different. It was goofy, which felt like what you would see on the Tonight Show, but that's kind of what the Pro Bowl has turned into. They've got all those stupid games. Add that to it. But you talk about hand-eye coordination, the release, the anticipation of where that record is going to be and seeing it shatter.
Throwing it hard enough to shatter it?
Yeah. I mean, now there were some tweaks there. They should have had somebody handing Fernando the ball to make it go quicker instead of him trying to reach and find one in a basket and get a grip. But, there's some tweaks to that bit, but that was pretty entertaining. Or something we might be able to do sometime if we do like a Bar Olympics kind of event.
Ooh. I like this.
I mean, hey, man, the best ideas are stolen. Nobody has original ideas anymore. So if you see something, hear something, you like it, steal it and run with it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what ESPN did with Inside the NBA, except for they're not running with it. Charles Barkley, I don't think, is a very happy Disney employee, because the other night he was talking about, what is ESPN going to fire me, when he was on with the Le Batard show. And one of the other things he said is he's not thrilled with Inside the NBA's appearances on ESPN. He said that as a group, they've all complained. They've been on ESPN 4 times in 3 months.
It's kind of ridiculous.
With the money that they're making, It is ridiculous. But at the same time, the NBA season doesn't matter until after football. I imagine he's going to be complaining that he's working too much once we get into February, March, April, May, and June. But right now he's like, dude, we've only been on 4 times. Part of it.
But NBA people, I don't think they're as football-centric as the rest of the country is. So they're kind of in the basketball stuff. And they're like, we've played 30, 45 games. How have we only been on 4 times?
Dude, your pay is the same, Chuck. Shut up. It's not like you're getting paid by the appearance.
It feels like he's getting a whole lot of free vacation time and complaining about it.
Sunday, Championship Sunday. Weather is going to suck. Let's talk about it. Bill Taylor, chief meteorologist from Ken's 5, will join us coming up next. And I imagine he's going to tell you Sunday, you're just going to be watching football all day, stay indoors, because it's going to be nasty outside, which, that's all very true. And you know what else is true? Adding excitement to watching those games and winning money on Underdog. Love playing on Underdog, the best place to get in on all the action, make your picks, and win money right now in Texas. And it's fun. It's easy. You look at the players' projected stats, and you decide higher or lower. I keep looking at Jarrett Stidham's projected passing yardage, and I'm leaning lower. I'm leaning lower. I don't think Sean Payton's going to have him throwing the ball all over the field. I think they'll run the ball. At the same time, Drake May and his passing yardage, the rushing yardage for New England. You build out your pick-o-mentry, get your picks right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. What are you waiting for? Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code STAR to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your holiday decor is down and suddenly your house looks very January. Kohl's can help you bring the spark back. No twinkle lights needed. Save on bedding that feels like a snow day. Decor that'll boost the mood. And Shark vacuums because, yes, you're still finding pine needles. Get an extra 15% off some of your faves store-wide. And beat those winter blahs at Kohl's. Select styles. Offer ends January 25th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to Shark. See store or Kohls.com for details.
George gets justice. In San Antonio, we look out for each other. So if someone's reckless driving puts you in the hospital, don't call some out-of-town lawyer. Call someone who actually lives here and will fight for what you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers. Because to George, you're a neighbor and he's got your back. And remember, you only pay if they win. Call 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com. Principal Office, San Antonio.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7 so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's going to be a crazy, cold, nasty weekend. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle has this Friday off. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along. We do expect to hear from Bill Taylor from Ken's TV, the chief meteorologist over there at Ken's TV, here in a couple of minutes. He says he's in a meeting running long. He'll be on here in a second. And you can imagine that the meetings that TV stations are going through right now, making sure they have everything set for their team coverage. Every TV station is going through this. Lucky reporter that gets to go to Kerrville to go stand outside to tell everybody that it's cold and it's icy.
On the side of the highway.
On the side of the highway. Get your reflected vest and head on out, right? But where they're going to be, who's covering the warming centers, all of that's going to be there. And I assume they still do this, although budgets are what they are. But, depending on where you are, getting hotels for everybody and making sure all the news trucks have gas and there's toilet paper and water available for everybody because, that's what we do. Somebody's going to be at the H-E-B. Somebody's going to be here. And the team coverage, working with Joe Reinagle, I'm going to guess Nate Ryan at Ken's has the night off. Don Harris over at News 4 never works on Friday, but that's all right because they'll probably kick sports to the side tonight.
So are they kicking Nate Ryan and giving him the day off, or are they sending him to cover like one of the Sideway hits?
Well, that would be a question for Bill Taylor. I'm not in that meeting, but we know this. Now, Reinagle, other than his chance to go cover a hurricane that one time, never had to do much.
Hair still didn't move.
Well, he was wearing a hat, but it didn't move. KSAT, I don't know what Larry Ramirez is going to do this weekend, but for the most part, and look, we make fun of it. We need that service. For all the different things out there, this is, major events, weather events. I don't need 18 minutes of weather when it's July and it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be hot, but times like this, you want to know when, you want to know where, you want to know how bad. I know for me, tomorrow morning, I'm getting on an airplane. From all accounts, we'll have no issues getting to the airport. When I get home Sunday night, I should have no issues as it stands right now.
Missing the worst of it?
I'm going to miss the worst of it.
Minix cruise.
No.
Weather turns bad, he's on a flight.
It was planned. Although I did see where Ted Cruz said that he was going to be back today.
Anybody seen him?
No, he was going to California for a meeting that was scheduled and coming back. What I don't understand is the optics, dude. There's nobody on your PR team say, it's probably not a good idea for you to fly Southwest to L.A. right now. You don't know anybody with a private plane. You can't afford a private plane, something. But just from the optics, whether it was planned and scheduled and what it is, you just can't have those optics.
Oh, my favorite are just the memes, like Pontatuxie Cruise.
What? You want to say that again?
Pontatuxie Cruise. In that Pontatuxie Phil, the groundhog? Well, they just same thing with Cruise.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
It is what. Now, granted, 2021, I got stuck in Florida during the crap. I've seen all kinds of people on our YouTube page making comments about Reinagle, calling in cold. He's actually somewhere where it's colder. He's in St. Louis.
He made a horrible decision.
Yeah. Well, he didn't really have a choice. But the idea that, he went from bad to worse. And you look at, like there's video of the Panhandle already getting hammered, which is normal. Dallas is going to get hammered. We're going to get a little bit of ice and roll from there.
I'm glad my Dallas trip was last weekend.
Mm-hmm. 31 Eagle fan says his robe is already on. Good. It is robe weather, I suppose.
Is it? I'm not a robe guy. I don't know.
If you're into robes, it's robe weather. But I'm glad to know. Eagle fan who says he's also 4 White Claws in. The White Claw drinker does sound like a robe guy. But then again, Rob Thompson is a robe guy. Remember a couple years ago, Rob got us all robes for Christmas? Have you ever worn it?
I do. I actually started wearing it like when I get out of the shower now that I live in the new place.
Oh. All right. Mine's still hanging on the back of the closet door and has never been worn. It's a lovely robe.
It is. Very soft.
I have no idea, to be honest. I'll just take your word for it. So Bill Taylor will join us when he's done with his meeting. In the meantime, on this championship Sunday, and if you're going to have a weekend where you got crappy weather, as long as the energy works, as long as your electricity is working, as long as the CPS Energy crews keep the power going, and you don't lose your cable or your streaming or whatever, as long as all that works, this is a perfect weekend to have bad weather where you're stuck inside. Because, well, especially on Sunday, because you're going to have 2 great football games, what should be 2 great football games. So make sure you have your beer and whatever it is you're going to eat and graze all day. Who do you think is going to win on Sunday and advance to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco? That is the poll question on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. All the scenarios are available for you to vote on. Rams Broncos, Rams Patriots, Seahawks Broncos, or Seahawks Patriots. Right now, 52% say Seahawks Patriots. And that, I think, is the, common here and common probably across the country. I did see a thing, how BetOnline always kind of talks about based on hashtag data, who's rooting for who. The Seahawks are the popular team across the country. Obviously, certain regions are going for their team, but the Seahawks are the popular team across the country. And when you look at Seahawks Patriots, I think Seattle is, excuse me, the best team left. You could argue the Rams, but they're the 1 seed, and they just destroyed San Francisco. Seattle is the best team left. The Broncos, if Bo Nix were healthy, I think would be the overwhelming favorite to beat New England at home. But when you lose your starting quarterback and you turn to a unproven backup like Jarrett Stidham, the confidence that even Bronco fans have can't be very high. And if you're Denver, if you're Sean Payton, you're putting a game plan in to where you're just hoping Jarrett Stidham doesn't screw it up. Don't fumble and don't throw interceptions. If Jarrett Stidham can play a turnover-free football game, Denver will have a chance. I think this is going to be one of those classic field position type games where Sean Payton is going to be fine with a 3-and-out and a punt and let that Denver defense do the work. Let Drake May make the mistake. Drake May fumbled a bunch against Houston. He'll throw an interception or 2. And Denver's defense, they're not Houston good, but that's a damn good defense. If you're Sean Payton, that has to be your game plan going in. Do not let Jarrett Stidham lose this game. I think they'll be heavy on the run and a short passing game, screen game, that sort of thing. No way Jarrett Stidham puts the ball in the air 35, 40, 45, 50 times. I just don't see that happening with a guy like Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't thrown a meaningful pass in who knows how long. But if he can play clean football and not turn the ball over, then Denver does have a chance. There's a reason they're the 1 seed, even though most of us still haven't bought into the fact that Denver is this good this year. And it is kind of cool to see an AFC championship game with 2 teams that appear to be ahead of schedule, right? I don't think anybody thought New England would be this good this year and playing in an AFC championship game. And even Denver, this good, this soon, with all the pieces they were putting together, both are ahead of schedule. Now, I think both are also fortunate that Kansas City dealt with a bunch of injuries. They weren't the same. Mahomes gets hurt. They don't have to deal with Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, not in the postseason because their kicker missed a kick and got their coach fired. I think if Baltimore would have made that kick, they would have beaten Houston, and maybe Lamar Jackson and Harbaugh are getting ready, and you wonder if Harbaugh would still have a job when the whole run is over. It's amazing how you can what if so many different things, but everything fell the way that it needed to for both the Broncos and the New England Patriots. Hell, if Jacksonville would have beat Buffalo, I think Jacksonville would be in this game and be the favorite to win this game. And Trevor Lawrence would be headed to his first Super Bowl. But they didn't get by Buffalo. And Buffalo's probably the biggest what-if team out there. What if they would have called that a catch? What if Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over left and right against Denver? And obviously, if it were Buffalo in this game, Josh Allen would be the heavy favorite. And that Bills team with Josh Allen against either Sam Darnold or Matthew Stafford would be a far more attractive Super Bowl. And that brings to another question. As your pick on who you think's going to win this weekend, more about who you think you're going to win or who you think you want to see playing Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it. But on our YouTube page, and you can go there and vote who you think's going to go. Over half the voters are picking the Seahawks and the Patriots. It's going to be a fun time. We'll continue the conversation, try to track down Billy Taylor, Billy T, as soon as he gets out of his big fancy weather meetings, as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. And you think about the winter weather that we're having this weekend, and you know more cold weather is on the way with the rodeo right around the corner. You need your logo on winter gear. Get in and see Sam over at Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. His entire winter line is on display in that massive showroom down on San Pedro. So you need that logo for your business, your group, your organization on a nice jacket, a half zip, a vest, a beanie, hoodie, half zip, anything. Sam will get you taken care of. He's also got over 700 uniform lines to choose from. That construction gear with your logo on it, you need that, go see Sam. Restaurants, schools, leagues, all kinds of industries. Sam will get you taken care of. He has all the big name brands, North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Mathew, Under Armour, Port Authority, to name a few. He also now has a full line of Tommy Bahama. You need caps? Go see him. Man, Sam has more caps than anybody, over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, and all the popular cap brands as well. The Richardson 112 style trucker caps, Katie caps, Nike, Cap America, in stock waiting for your logo. Nobody has better prices, nor order too big, nor order too small. And of course, all items do come with a warranty, and Sam is the only company in Texas that does offer one-day turnaround. Call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900. 824-3900, or go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410 right there across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, back from championship weekend. We have a Super Bowl set, Rob.
Thaw your ice out. Get your stuff ready. It is on the way. Super Bowl around the bend. We'll talk about how we're getting there. And oh, by the way, the Spurs had a game or two as well. Get here early. Thaw out. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Captid Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. Ron Egeloff today. I'm Jason Minix. Championship weekend is here. Listen to both games coming up on a Sunday right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Who you think is going to be in those championship games, you can vote over on our YouTube page. Just find YouTube, go to San Antonio Sports Star, search it out, and the poll is there. And again, most people choosing Seahawks and Patriots. Right now, they're at 50% of the vote. So, you could tell it's been as high as 53%, as low as 48%. And about 50% of the audience are expecting it to be Seattle and New England. But go vote on the YouTube page on who you think is going to win this weekend in advance to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. And it's going to be one of those days you're going to be in front of the TV anyway. The weather is going to tell you to stay indoors. The other day, Bill Taylor from Ken's TV, the chief meteorologist, was on with us to give us an idea of what to expect. And he kept saying, the models are going to change. Friday we'll have a better idea. So it's Friday. Bill Taylor joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Are the models saying anything different today than they were on Wednesday, my friend?
How are you, my brother? You know what? Not much of a change, Jason. We saw some of this colder air slow down on its move to South Texas. I think the only change is really going to be for North Texas. And I think about some of the folks listening right now who have loved ones and good friends that live in Dallas and Fort Worth. You're going to probably see a significant ice storm up across North Texas. For us, the story really hasn't changed much. The timing is still about the same, with freezing temperatures coming in about 7 or 8 p.m. Saturday. But overnight tonight, we're expecting some pretty heavy rain. Now, temperatures will be way too warm in order for any of that to freeze. This will come down as heavy rain, thunderstorms at about 3 or 4 in the morning, and then that sweeps through. This will be a line associated with the cold front as that pushes through before the sun is up on Saturday. And then once we get into Saturday itself, that's when we're going to start seeing temperatures drop. This wave of rain will move through, I would say it's east of us by 8 a.m. at the latest tomorrow morning, and probably puts down about an inch of rain, which will be great. But as soon as we get to about, say, 10 a.m., we're going to start dropping into the 30s, and we're going down from there. And I would expect more rain to develop in the afternoon, and the sleet is probably going to be confined to the hill country at about 2, maybe 3 p.m. at the latest. We could see it around noon hour, maybe even mid-morning up around the hill country, but we're not expecting any problems up there until probably the afternoon or evening. And again, that's still just the hill country where we have a winter storm warning. But the temperatures here, as far as freezing, that should hold off until probably about 10, 11 p.m. And that's great because, we'll still have some moisture to deal with, but most people should be home, hopefully, and off the roads. I know there'll still be some that, are closing down the bars at 2 a.m.
Yep.
And that's going to be the biggest problem spot, Jason. I'm telling you, at like 2, 3 in the morning, that's when we should be seeing some of this sleet and even freezing rain and maybe a little bit of icing on the overpasses. And then the moisture's out. As scheduled, that has not changed. I would say by 8, maybe 9 a.m. Sunday, the moisture's east of us. The cold is here to stay till Tuesday or Wednesday, but we get this moisture out of our way by, I would say, like I say, 8, 9 a.m. Sunday.
Bill Taylor from Kens TV joining us here on the Blitz. So Sunday morning, early church services could be in jeopardy. I was talking to a friend of mine that, he owns a Mellow Mushroom earlier today. We went and had a, pregame pie, if you will. And, he was trying to figure out, is he going to close early on Saturday or open late on Sunday? One, customers, but two, for his employees being on the roads driving in this. When do you think, especially Sunday morning, driving will be fine?
I would say by mid-morning, because like you just said, everybody's trying to make decisions. I'm on the part-time staff as a pastor at Gateway Fellowship, and what we're doing, we're canceling our 8:30 service, and we're just going to have our 10 and 11:30. And our 10 a.m. is streamed on Facebook, on YouTube. And so, we're concerned about it two ways, right? Is that, number one, getting everybody to the church for service, but then how many people are actually going to go out and come to church, right?
Yep.
And so same type situation where I just don't see us getting on the roads until mid-morning at the earliest on Sunday where we can safely be out there. It's still going to be bitterly cold as temperatures will stay in the probably freezing realm until about midday. I think by about 12, maybe 1, 2 p.m. Sunday, we get above 32 on our way to a high of about 38 or 39 on Sunday, hopefully. And that's a long shot. We're definitely going to stay in the 30s. I'm shooting for 38. And then on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, we're in the low to mid-20s. I mean, it's going to be really cold nights. So prepare now. You still have several hours this afternoon to make sure exterior pipes are wrapped. Make sure you've got pets taken care of. Check on your elderly loved ones. Check on getting a coat to Five-Star Cleaners or Santico's Movie Theater. We've got our coat drive going, and we're going to be getting coats out all weekend long to the homeless. We've got over 3,000 homeless in this city, Jason, and we've got to remember them too.
Absolutely. Bill, when you think about, this weekend, and by all accounts, Monday morning, while it's going to be ridiculously cold, getting to work, getting to school for the kiddos, that should be fine. Other than just miserably cold, roads should not be an issue getting to work on Monday.
Not at all. Not at all. I think the only issue we could have, Jason, is going to be like heating the schools. Sometimes we've seen that in the past where some heating systems have failed. That could be an issue if that happens. But precipitation is going to be gone for 24 hours by the time we get to Monday morning. So everything will be dry. When I talk about that overnight rain tonight, it's going to be upwards of 1 inch to 1.25 inches. The good news is with the higher winds on Saturday and Sunday, that helps dry things out too. You don't need sunshine as much as those winds can really help. And that's going to be key. And so with those kind of wind speeds we're expecting on Saturday, and then the wind chills, oh my gosh, on Sunday morning, we're going to feel like about 10 or 11 in the city. Yeah, it's going to be single digits in the hill country on wind chill factors. It's going to be brutal.
All right, Bill. So this is, it's championship weekend in the NFL, but weather events like this, it's like the Bill Taylor Super Bowl, man. Your barometer's rising. Everything's exciting. You're ready to rock and roll. Are you spending all weekend there at 5400 Fredericksburg Road? Are you going to go home? You going round the clock? What's the weather plan for Ken's TV?
Well, the plan, I'm going to be able to go home tonight. You know, we got the thunderstorms overnight, and we'll be okay there. But come Saturday, that's when we're going to be in full team coverage. We're going to have the entire weather team here hitting our digital platform as well as on air. You know, we have a 5, 6, and 10 p.m. newscast. Our 10 p.m. is an hour long. And so we plan on probably 12 to 13-hour shifts each so that we're handing it, you know, off to each other in the overnight. Paul Morellis and Roxy Van Ruten will be taking
Wait, you're going to let somebody else get on and steal some of the glory? Come on, Bill.
Steal some of it. I got to hand it off a little bit, you know. Right? Like, you know, I got to get enough, you know. So, yeah, I'll get my full on Saturday and Saturday night mainly. But, yeah, by probably about 2 a.m. is when I'll head home on Sunday morning. And Paul and Roxy will take it from there for Sunday morning coverage.
See, and that's what you need to know. If Bill's willing to drive on this, then you're good to go. It's kind of how I feel about a pilot. When the pilot doesn't want to take off, then I'm good because I know that guy wants to land and go home. If Bill is safe to drive home, you know it's okay.
That's a great way to gauge it, man. It really is. You know, and we do have rooms reserved in the area just in case, you know, but I don't think I'm going to need them. I think I'll be able to safely drive home at 2 in the morning. I think the main hazard is going to be the bridges and overpasses. If you're driving on Sunday morning, I know a lot of people still work, even though most people are hopefully home. You've got to stay on road surface. You don't stay off bridges, stay off overpasses. That's where we'll see icing. But the city's doing a phenomenal job today. We've got our team out showing you today at 4, 5, 6, and 10 what preparations are in place, and they're getting that de-icing agent down on a lot of our overpasses. And as you know, all our big flyovers are now open. So this is going to be the first winter weather test on those. And so they're getting those agents down on the surface and hopefully in good place.
All right, Bill. Now, before you were going to be on a little while ago, you were in a meeting. I assume that was deciding which lucky reporter gets to go stand on the side of the highway in Kerrville to tell us it's cold. Who is going to be that for Ken's 5 this weekend?
You know, it's practically every time when we have these situations that Jeremy Baker hits Kerrville, it's almost kind of become his bureau for weather coverage, you know, because it is kind of the epicenter of issues. If you've got I-10 getting closed in Kerrville, that is a major decision that impacts a lot of 18-wheelers, and those will back up for miles. And so that's a huge deal if it happens. And so we always get boots on the ground in Kerrville, and those boots are 9 times out of 10 belong to Jeremy Baker.
9 times out of 10, the Baker Bureau.
Yeah,
I love that.
He's going to move to Kerrville, yeah.
Ah, man, it's like, yeah, all right, stand outside, tell me it's cold. That works. Good stuff. Bill Taylor, I saw you did take the time today to visit with the Express News about the perfect day for one Bill Taylor. I mean, you have made it, my friend.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. Even put in the Rocco family recipe for marinara. You got to try that.
I
know you're quite the accomplished chef, and I know that. And you do a great job on the grill. But get in that kitchen and do some of that marinara, brother.
You know, all my cooking is outside. I don't know how to cook indoors, man. I can still make pizza rolls, maybe, but that's about it.
Tostinos, huh?
That's it. That and bagel bites, man. That's the extent of indoor cooking for me. But if I can figure out how to make the marinara outdoors, we might be onto something. Bill always.
Honey, the bagel bites are ready, honey.
That's
They're
it.
Ready.
That's it. If Joanna tells me to cook and I'm going straight from work, it's what restaurant do you want me to pick up from?
Exactly. All right, brother. Stay safe. God bless you.
Appreciate you. The great Bill Taylor from at Ken's TV here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online, buyersbarricades.com. And I do think you just kind of heard it from Bill. It's going to be stupid cold. But all this mass, let's go get all the water and all the toilet paper, little overkill. Most of this bad ice is probably going to be when you weren't going to be out anyway, unless you were getting up early for church on Sunday or leaving the bar pledge late on Saturday night. You know, outside of that, like if you were planning to be home, you know, go out to dinner Saturday night and home by 10-ish, by the time you wake up and get moving to get to the meat market to figure out what you're going to do, it's probably going to be over. So it's still going to be stupid cold, but the dangerous stuff, at least for us in San Antonio proper. Now, if you're listening to us up in Kerrville and because, all right, but if you live there, you know what happens, right? It's kind of like when it rains. We know what streets are going to flood. We know where it's going to ice. You live in Kerrville. It's comes with the territory. Good luck to one Jeremy Baker. Always wondered. They all go out there and they stand to tell us it's cold, and then get the video of all those trucks that are backed up when they close the highway. And I get it; it's necessary, but what a crappy assignment that's got to be. You always wonder, they just sit in their trucks with the heaters going until, all right, you're on in 30 seconds, and then you run out there. You're not standing out there for hours. I hope. I don't know. We'll see. Back to the sports world. Speaking of cold, the Big 12 and the SEC cold shouldering each other when it comes to the college football playoff. It is going to remain a 12-team field in 2026 because the SEC and the Big Ten commissioners can't agree. And honestly, I'm glad. I know at some point it's going to go to 16. I'm kind of okay with 16. The 24-team format, to me, just seems so stupid. And I'm glad they don't agree on that because it is such a bad idea. It's not even worth the discussion. The only thing that I could see that these suits want with a 24-team playoff are the dollars that would be associated with it. But at that point, with a 24-team playoff format, aren't you just completely watering down the importance of the regular season? And you could argue, when you look at teams with multiple losses in a 12-team playoff, that the regular season's already watered down a bit more than it should be when you think about the college football playoff. I'm glad that this isn't happening because there was the horse trading going on. Is all right, if you do 16 now, in 3 years we got to do 24. If you agree to that, I'll agree to this, and they didn't agree on it, which I'm glad because 24 teams just seems like it's way too many. I'm okay with a one-loss, maybe even a two-loss team getting into the postseason. I don't think one loss early in the year should keep you out of the playoffs and keep you out of a potential national championship game if you're that caliber of team, especially if you're playing another team that is high level. When you have big games on your schedule, when you've got a Texas playing an Ohio State, when you've got an A&M playing a Notre Dame, the postseason chances for any of those teams shouldn't be penalized for the loser of that because everybody's going to have a winner and a loser. Everybody is going to have a bad Saturday afternoon. And that one bad Saturday afternoon, whether it be just a bad game, an injury in there, a horrific call from an official, that shouldn't derail your postseason national championship aspirations. 3 losses, 4 losses. I mean, you think about a 24-team playoff, a 4-loss Alabama would get in. And that to me, I think is too much. And how are you going to get them all played and end the season? I'm more worried about fixing this damn portal window than I am a 24-team playoff. 16, okay. And so far, the buys haven't been really good for people. So, if that eliminates the buys and if more of these playoff games are on campus, although I know they're trying to figure out how to incorporate bowl games into them a little bit more, but I love the on-campus playoff setting. Those have been phenomenal. I mean, I know my Aggie friends, while disappointed in the outcome and the 11 a.m. kickoff part of it, that was freaking awesome. There needs to be more of that as opposed to the neutral site. I wonder for some of those Indiana fans, how many years it will take to pay off some of that credit card debt for the traveling they did to watch their team win a championship for the first time in school history. Money well spent. Money well spent. There are things worthy of going into a little depth for as a sports fan, and that's one of them. I've got a friend who has a credit card, and he's had it forever. and it's the Dallas Cowboys credit card. And he told me he got that credit card, and it's in a drawer. And he will only use that card when and if the Dallas Cowboys make it back to the Super Bowl. And whatever it costs, fine, it's going on that credit card, and he's good with paying it. When your team is on a run like that, especially if you're not used to it, man, that's worth it. Worth it. Somewhere Dave Ramsey is going to shoot me. But to me, that would be worth it in a 16-game playoff. 24? No. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Hey, Gary, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, I agree with you. I think 24 games that's extreme. But, any way they can make a little extra money, they're going to try to figure it out. But if you want to go to a 16-game, 18, whatever, just get rid of some of these friggin' bowl games that really, they got the Pick Your Nose Bowl in Hawaii. Who even really cares?
Well, Gary, hold on, Gary. You say that, the Pick Your Nose Bowl. Imagine the creativity you could have with that. But here's the thing. For the teams that are playing in that, is it what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago? No. But did you see the TV ratings for this year's bowl season? And even last year's, the ratings were up. 3.1 million people watch UTSA kick the crap out of FIU, right? We all love football, and the more football, the better.
So if you got a chance to get into one of those bowls, take a couple of those bowls and make those part of the playoff, and then everybody's happy. Everybody gets what they want, and the teams that are just right there on the fringe, like Texas, would have loved to have been in the playoff, and they would have got in, and they could have surprised a bunch of people because some of those teams in the playoffs were terrible.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and to a degree, I think we're splitting hairs. I think you could, and Josh Pate, who you see a lot on Greeny on ESPN, had an idea of taking, now he had all kinds of ideas on how to fix college football, but one of them is to take some of the bowl games. In his model, that were 6 bowl games, like the Alamo Bowl, like the Citrus Bowl, like the Pop-Tart Bowl, have those matchups as essentially play-in games for the playoffs, because those would count towards those college football playoff points, and then the committee meet after that. So while the conference championship games are going on, you have these 6 bowl games that are going on, and those teams are all kind of, the winners would be considered for playoffs. I'm down with that, and that does put a little life into some of those bowl games. But, the first responder bowl that UTSA was in, I think a program like UTSA still needs an opportunity to go bowling. Texas State and Rice, some of those smaller bowls and teams in the group of, not the Power Four conferences, to have that postseason experience, I think is still special. Maybe not what it was. And with the portal, it's a pain in the ass for the coaches, especially with half their teams jumping into the portal. But there's got to be a way to keep bowl season. It won't be like we've always known it, but as long as there's cities and sponsors willing to host, there are going to be teams willing to go play in them, and then you can have the playoffs. But you can't have everyone being in a playoff game. 24 teams, that's, to me, way, way too many. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. It is a Friday. Most of you have your weekend plans of trying to stay warm. Probably can't do that if you get yourself arrested. So if you do get arrested, you know you want to get out of jail fast, and the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You can text the word bail to 474747, or even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
It's Pork Rind Appreciation Day at PorkRinds.com. Hall of Famer Devin Hester and PorkRinds.com are lining up to be the heroes for the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. Pork Rinds are the MVP of the snack aisle. Low-carb, gluten-free, and packed with protein. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Visit PorkRinds.com to enter for a chance to win a 2027 Big Game Travel Package and a year's supply of rinds. Support a great cause and find your favorite rinds at PorkRinds.com. Pork Rind Appreciation Day, the crunchiest day in football.
What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can test your sports IQ in real time with Robinhood Prediction Markets. It's not you against the house, it's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions all game long. You know the game, put it to use. Trade every play with Robinhood. Download the app today. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Spurs beat the Jazz in Utah last night, 126-109, led by De'Aaron Fox's 31 points. Wemby added 26 in the win as the Spurs return to action on Sunday in the Frost Bank Center against the Pelicans at 6 o'clock. The Cowboys, while they have their new defensive coordinator, they may be losing their defensive line coach as Aaron Whitecotton has been requested by the Tennessee Titans.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Happy Friday. Into championship weekend in the NFL. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagel has the day off. James Pledger producing as always. So much to talk about over the next couple hours here on the Blitz. The Dallas Cowboys do have a new defensive coordinator. They did make it official earlier today. Christian Parker is the guy. We'll talk about it coming up at 4:35 with our good friend Todd Archer from ESPN, covers the Dallas Cowboys there for ESPN. A lot of questions on process. Does feel very much like this is a Brian Schottenheimer hire. But how much of Christian Parker's staff is going to be retained, or is he going to bring in a bunch of new people? You know, I did get the sense the Cowboys want to keep Aaron Whitecotton, and I do too. I thought there'd be a chance that he could be the DC. He's not. That's Parker. He's the coaching in that East-West Shrine game up there. He's doing everything to be there, but I just think about what that dude has done with the defensive line and then what Parker is expected to do with the secondary. That'd be a pretty good combination, except for Mr. Whitecotton is going to go interview with the Tennessee Titans for their defensive coordinator job, connect all the dots. He was on the staff with Robert Saleh, the new Titans coach, when they were together with the New York Jets. So Todd Archer will join us coming up in about half hour to give us the latest on the Cowboys. But that coordinator search is over. By all accounts, most people are pretty excited about it. And if anything, just because the Cowboys did something different. Jerry did something different. One of these rising stars in the coaching world lands in Dallas. At the same time, you make your arch rival in the NFC East a little bit weaker because you took a dude that they didn't want to lose. And by all accounts, if you're Christian Parker, you're not buying in Dallas, you're renting. That guy's going to be a head coach in a couple of years. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, that's what you're hoping for, because that means the Cowboys defense will have shown major improvement. But he's not a long-time guy. And then that might be by design. He doesn't need to buy in Dallas. He needs to rent, because by all accounts, his rising star is going to land him a head coaching job in the very near future. And if that happens, that means the Cowboys will have turned things around defensively. That's kind of what you want, as opposed to one of these retreads who's had success, had failures, and that's the risk that you're working with here. By all accounts, this is a home run hire. By all accounts. It might fail miserably because the guy's never done it. He's never been a coordinator, never called the defense. And that's very unlike Jerry to go with a first-time guy in a situation like this. But this hire of Christian Parker, very similar to what you saw last year with Clayton Adams. Now, Clayton Adams is a non-play calling offensive coordinator. So I don't think a lot of people were like, all right, well, what's the big deal? Somebody's got to have that title. But Clayton Adams was an offensive line guru guy. And there, you could say what you want about the Cowboys' offensive line, but you can only fix so much. But for the most part, those guys have played well. And you can't knock what the offense did this year, especially for Clayton Adams being the run game coordinator guy. Now, it helps to have a running back with a pulse, but with what Javonte Williams was able to do in the run game, I think says a lot. And very unusual now when you look at the makeup of the Cowboys' top three coaches and their past NFL head coaching experience. Very, very unlike Jerry Jones. Your head coach is now his second year as a head coach. Your offensive coordinator will be his second year as an OC, and your defensive coordinator will be his first year. Again, very unlike Jerry. And I think most people are excited just because Jerry feels like he's doing something different. Because, you know, what hasn't worked over the last 30 years, he's finally realized the definition of insanity.
You think I'm an idiot?
At times. At times. Can't lie to you, Jerry. At times. I don't think you're an idiot, but I think a lot of your decisions are idiotic. Is that a better way to say that? Is that a better way?
Stop it.
No, I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to speak the truth. That's what I do here, Jerry. It's what we do. 210-656-ESPN. You want to talk Texans? Of course he does. 656-3776. Josh, it's only taken you all week since you guys wasted that golden opportunity against the Patriots, man. Welcome on the Blitz.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, that's on CJ. I gave him my phone and he kept throwing it to the wrong stations and the wrong places. So sorry again.
You worked on that joke all week and failed miserably. I mean, you fumbled that away like a CJ Stroud.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. I did. He played very horrible. He played very horrible in the divisional game, and I have a feeling that it's going to continue to get worse for the Texans. That was kind of why I called, and I'm just ready for them to be fourth place. Maybe not fourth place because you do have, Tennessee will probably be better. They're going to be probably fourth place. Well, no, Indianapolis. So, they'll be maybe third or fourth place in the division next year. I don't think Nick Caserio has a pulse on what the Texans need. I think he still thinks it's 2002 and maybe 2012 when you can have a top defense run the league and they're going to win you games, which that's not the league anymore. You have to have a quarterback. You have to have an offense. You have to be able to put up more than 23 points per game.
So, Josh, are you ready to cut ties with C.J. Stroud, who wasn't that long ago you're calling this show saying he's a top 5 quarterback in the league and certainly by far the best quarterback in the state of Texas? Now, you seem to be singing a different song now.
I'm not ready to cut ties with him. I think if you can get him at the right price, if David Mulugeta comes in and says, hey, C.J. Stroud wants a $55 million deal, you're going to tell him, just go ahead and keep on walking. We'll seek a trade. That's fine. Jets might do something stupid again and trade the number 2 pick for C.J. Stroud or, Vegas, hey, here's C.J. Here you go. So it's up in the air, whatever he wants. If he wants a 40, and I'm okay with a $45 million contract per year for 3 years, prove it deal. That's fine because you can still build up a decent team around him.
Now, Josh, hang on. Now, you're smarter than I understand. You need to vent. I understand the frustration. This therapy session that you're not getting billed for. But when you understand how this works, one, David Mulugeta is not your agent for you to take any kind of a discount. You're going to maximize and get overpaid. That's what Mulugeta's job is. The timing of it, you're either going to sign the guy, you're going to pick up his option, so you don't have to make a decision now. But at the same time, when it's time, he's not going to play for 45 or 42 or 41. He's going to get the most money, whatever the average is, just like Tua did. Now, Trevor had a playoff year this year, so nobody's talking about his contract. But when he signed it, all the stuff was, well, what has he done to earn it? And that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. If it's your time, your organization decides, do we think we have a franchise quarterback? And if it's time to pay him, you pay him. Ask Miami and Tua. And if he's not your guy, then you move on. See Mitch Trubisky. I mean, and that's what you're looking for. And if you decide, like Chicago did with Mitch Trubisky, then you better have your plan for the next quarterback. What I want to see Nick Caserio do this year, and I don't think that they will, is bring in another quarterback that can actually compete for the job and make your decision, is CJ the guy or not? Because 2 playoff games, especially as bad as they were this year, hard to overcome, but they've got to decide, do they have their guy? What D'Amico says publicly, I've got his back, and players and all that, sure, that's what they're saying into a microphone. But what are they saying in the meeting room? What are his teammates saying in the locker room? And again, it's Caserio, it's Cal McNair, it's D'Amico Ryans. Do they think CJ is the franchise quarterback and worthy of the next contract? If they do, then they're not going to bring anybody else in, and Davis Mills probably will continue to be the backup. If not, try to bring somebody in, the Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold type that are making, mid-30s, which is a lot of money, and see if they'll compete for the job. Because after next year, that's when you really, really have to make that decision. Because it is unfortunate. It's a damn shame, honestly, that Houston isn't playing in the AFC Championship game this weekend. They should be. Let's talk about who is playing in the game this weekend. Coming up here on the Blitz, here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
For a limited time, get a free K5 reverse osmosis drinking water station when you purchase a Connecticut water softener. Clean, great tasting water at your kitchen sink. Hurry before they're gone.
ConnecticutSA.com. Start the year in dry at North Park Chevrolet in Castroville. All Silverado 1500s get 1.9% financing plus an additional $1,250 trade-in rebate. Or buy a new Colorado for only $28,999. And the affordable Trax is only $346 a month with 0 down. Plus, all heavy duties have 5.9% financing for 84 months. Together, let's drive. North Park Chevrolet, 10 minutes by Loop 410 in Castroville. Must qualify. Call 830-355-2107 for full price and offer details.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need hair volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything, but while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
The Gomez Law Firm is San Antonio's leader in personal injury law, and we have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us to share more.
Number one priority is to let the people know that we are a law firm that's been part of this community for 50 years. Mr. Gomez, he's been a practicing attorney here since 1973. He's born and raised here in San Antonio, done nothing but help out personal injury victims. It's very important that we get that out to the San Antonio community because a lot of these attorneys like to come in here and act like they're from here, but they're all out-of-towners. They don't know what goes on here. If you've been injured, if you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in a car wreck, call the Gomez Law Firm. We've been around for almost 50 years. And we're not going anywhere.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, you need to visit joegomezlaw.com. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, back from championship weekend. We have a Super Bowl set, Rob.
Thaw your ice out, get your stuff ready. It is on the way. Super Bowl around the bend. We'll talk about how we're getting there. And oh, by the way, the Spurs had a game or two as well. Get here early, thaw out. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 90.
Great Seattle band that I imagine will be hoping for a Seattle win on Sunday. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star online, sasportstar.com, the many apps, even on YouTube. Search out the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. You can even vote in the poll there. It is the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagel has the day off. You can go vote in the poll to predict who's going to the Super Bowl. It is championship weekend. Two what should be great games on Sunday. Both games right here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Who you got? Vote in the poll. Rams, Broncos, Rams, Patriots, or Seahawks, Broncos, Seahawks, Patriots. Interesting with 76 votes, so we need you to go vote. I always like them over 100 to really count. Seahawks, Patriots at 46%. That's been as high as 53. I think 46% might be the lowest. Rams, Patriots are at 2 at 25%. Seahawks, Broncos at 16%. Rams, Broncos at 13%. Tell me why. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. And I say the why. Really, for those of you that think the Broncos have a chance to beat the Patriots with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. I mean, it goes without saying. I don't want to sound like Captain Obvious here, but, you know, if Bo Nix were playing, I think this would be a far different discussion. But anybody going with a backup quarterback. What I find interesting is because the coach is Sean Payton and he handpicked Jarrett Stidham as his backup, that's making a lot of people comfortable in thinking the Broncos can actually upset the Patriots. I think they can keep it close. I don't know that they can upset the Patriots. The only way Denver wins on Sunday is if Jarrett Stidham doesn't turn the ball over and Drake May does. And if you're Sean Payton, that's the game plan going in. That's got to be the game plan going in. It's exactly what we talked about a week ago with C.J. Stroud coming off that piss-poor performance against Pittsburgh. If he doesn't turn the ball over against New England, they're going to win the game. And he gave away the ball like it was Halloween candy. The idea of Jarrett Stidham, if he has a game like that, it could get ugly in a hurry. But I don't know that Sean Payton will call plays to allow that to happen. I see Denver going with having a ton of 3-and-outs. Punt the ball, and let that Denver defense do the work. Try to force Drake May into making that mistake. I mean, he showed against Houston. He gets hit hard enough, he'll fumble. He'll throw an interception. We're talking about a guy that's in the MVP conversation. He's an MVP finalist. But it's not like he's been spectacular this postseason. He'll turn the ball over. Denver can create those turnovers. Denver's defense isn't as good as Houston's. In fact, the only of the four teams playing, the only one that you could say that is Seattle's. That Seattle's defense is that good. But I do think Denver will make this game competitive. I think this game will be close if Jarrett Stidham doesn't turn the ball over. If Jarrett Stidham is turning the ball over, it's going to get ugly in a hurry. But I do think you're going to see a very, for Sean Payton's standards, conservative game plan. They're going to try to run the ball, a lot of screen passes. If the defense allows it, you're going to see some deep shots, and you know Jarrett Stidham can make those throws. But it's going to be the right look, the right situation when you see Denver taking some shots. And they will. I mean, it's the AFC Championship game. They will. Now, if they're down 21-0 in the first quarter, all bets are off, right, at that point. But I just don't see New England running away with it against that Denver defense. And this is going to be one of those classic field position games and the mistakes that are made. And I know every Houston fan, you just heard one who's, his friends need to check on him regularly because Houston fans are going to watch that game just what-ifing themselves to death because I think Houston would steamroll this Denver team. with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. Then again, Buffalo Bills fans are going to be watching this game in disgust, feeling like it was robbed, that was a catch, and they should be there. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. I mean, because there are two teams sitting at home right now that would have been a spectacular AFC championship game and a better matchup for whoever they would face in the NFC.
Is this Buffalo's Des caught it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
are we going to hear about this in 15 years? Like, Cook's caught it.
No, because I think the Des caught it momentum. One, it was such a spectacular play, and the debate was between everybody and the ref, and analysts, other referees, they all thought that was a catch. And then Dean Blandino, they changed the rules and said, yeah, that should have been a catch. When you go back and you look at that Brandon Cooks play, the ball moved and the defender made it. Had the defender not caught it, it would have been incomplete. The ball did move. Was he down? Should it have been a catch? I think we all know the rules now. No, but you'll have that argument. And then you see similar plays where it is called a catch, but the ball doesn't move. So I think you've got it that way to where, it's a little bit different. But if you're a Bill fan, you're going to be talking about this like wide right. I mean, this is always going to be there, right? Nor right? I mean, that's always going to be there. I don't know if it's at the level of Des caught it, but it's there. And the what ifs and the we got screwed. Never mind the turnovers that Josh Allen had in that game and the points that you gave Denver because Josh Allen was careless with the football. They won't bring that up. Mm-hmm. They won't bring that up.
Well, that's why I asked, because all Cowboys fans, not only did Des catch it, they were going to go to Seattle, beat the Seahawks, and then go to the Super Bowl and win it over against the Brady Patriots. Yep, you had already etched that Super Bowl trophy onto the mantle.
Yeah.
This feels similar in a sense of if he catches it, they win. They would have beaten the Patriots again, gone to the played probably and won. It feels the parallels are there.
I think there are so many games out there. That Cowboys team with Tony Romo would have won that Super Bowl. You can't tell me otherwise, and we'll never know. You go back to the Jessica Simpson years, or that year, they lose 21-7 to the Giants, who go on to win the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll blame Jessica Simpson. We'll blame Cancun. Nobody is mad that Jason Witten was in Cancun, and so was Bobby Carpenter. And we'll talk about the two misses to Patrick Creighton.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody brings up the fact that they gave up that long touchdown to the Giants right before halftime, which was a damn shame. That should never have happened. That was really what changed that game.
Yeah.
Jackie Smith had his drop in the end zone in the second quarter when they lost to the Steelers, but you talk to Cowboy fans that remember that. You kind of felt like that was the game-winning play, and Roger Staubach, with no time left on the clock, threw it, it hit him right in the chest, and he dropped it, and Pittsburgh won the Super Bowl. You're an Oiler fan. Do I want to bring up Frank Reich? I mean, there are those moments with the selective memory that we all have.
Yeah, and part of that selective memory is there was still just over 4 minutes, if that is indeed a touchdown, with Aaron Rodgers with the ball at home and timeouts.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
I know how Aaron Rodgers has played Cowboys in late game situations.
We all do. We all do.
I'm just.
I mean, leave it to Texan fan to try to pick a scab that isn't there anymore. It's healed up. It's a scar now. We all know. It's one of those things. And if you're a Denver fan, you probably wanted to throw something at the TV this morning with Peter Schrager on Get Up when he went through the top 5 heartbreaking losses that Sean Payton has suffered. And I guess I never really put it together until Schrager did this morning, just how close Sean Payton has been and some of the just excruciating, you can't believe that happened. And there was a top 5 list. They could have done more. I mean, most fan bases have one or two of those moments. Sean Payton has a top 5 list that could be a top 10 list of some of the worst ways you could lose.
I remember.
You remember all of them,
Yeah.
but,
specifically the no pass interference call from the Rams.
Yeah, well, there's that. You had the Minneapolis Miracle. Case Keenum with that throw to Stephon Diggs, and I mean, just all of it. It's pretty incredible. So, yeah, man, that's the fun part of it. And I'm gonna guess there's gonna be an excruciating way for the Broncos to lose this weekend. I'm taking the Patriots and the Seahawks. Who are you taking? We've got a poll up on our YouTube page. Who's going to the Super Bowl? All the different scenarios are there. Seahawks, Patriots, Seahawks, Broncos, or Rams, Patriots, Rams, Broncos. What combination? What two teams? Your time to call your shot. You can get your vote in there on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. The Dallas Cowboys have a new defensive coordinator. They made it official. Let's go inside the hiring process and what staff might stick around for new DC Christian Parker. We'll do that with our good friend Todd Archer from ESPN. He joins us next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
If your dog goes wild at the doorbell, it's time for a new game plan. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuits is coaching up new pups and current MVPs with professional training sessions. Call them today at 210-750-1298. That's 210-750-1298. Call them today.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and you can get up to a $5 cashback bonus on your first tank.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SUPPLY to get up to a $5 cashback bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SUPPLY to get up to a $5 cashback bonus on your first tank. That's code SUPPLY for up to a $5 cashback bonus.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. 0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Dallas Cowboys make it official today. Their new defensive coordinator is Christian Parker. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. Let's talk about the new DC with Todd Archer from ESPN joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. It's such a different hire for Jerry Jones, so far out of the norm. Todd, can you kind of take us through the interview process, the 9 guys, and what they really liked about Parker?
Yeah, I mean, you can say this is tremendously out of the norm for the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. It's the first time they've not hired a former head coach as a defensive coordinator since 2013. The last guy that they hired that wasn't a head coach as a turned coordinator was Monty Kiffin in 2013. He was 73 years old. This guy's 34 years old. So the way it was explained to me is this guy just kind of bowled everybody over in the interview process, had great answers for what he thought of the Cowboys personnel, where they can get better, how they can improve. And he came from a system that obviously the Cowboys are familiar with, having played against Vic Fangio, but had high letters of recommendation, say, from guys like Fangio, from guys like Mike Patton and other guys across the league. And that's why, you sometimes think, man, kind of young to be a coordinator, never done it before. But he's a guy that everybody right now is speaking glowingly about for the rapid rise that he's made up the coaching ranks since getting into the NFL.
Todd, and it is such a rapid rise. And, I said earlier, the guy needs to rent in Dallas, not buy a place to live, because he's probably going to be a head coach soon. And if that happens, that means it truly is a home run hire for Jerry, because the defense will have been turned around. And maybe it doesn't work. I think most Cowboy fans are excited just because Jerry finally did something different. It really feels like this is more of a Brian Schottenheimer hire than a Jerry Jones hire. How much influence is Schotty going to get credit for this? How much did Brian have to sell Jerry on this is the guy?
Well, I kind of push back on the whole Jerry has done all these hires, and did Jerry allow this? And look, it wasn't like Brian Schottenheimer didn't want Matt Eberflus, because he's been and let's not use what we know now about what happened with the Eberflus defense. When the Cowboys hired Matt Eberflus, I don't remember anybody really saying, man, what are they doing? Terrible hire. Can't go get that guy. Yes, it didn't work for him in Chicago, but you look at his defenses when he was with the Colts, look what he did here with the personnel when he was with the Cowboys. He's a good, solid coach, and it didn't work for a variety of reasons, from blame him, blame the assistants, blame the scheme, blame the players, blame everybody, blame Jerry. So, the one thing, and maybe it's a distinction without difference when I say this, I don't think the Cowboys said to Shoddy, Matt Eberflus is your defensive coordinator. I think they said, we want you to talk to Matt Eberflus and see if he could be the guy. And as a first-time head coach, you're going to say, okay, my bosses want me to talk to this guy. I'm sure this is the guy they want me to get. Let me talk to him. And, okay, I've competed against him. I know him. So, but back onto the Parker thing, it's a little bit like Clayton Adams to a degree, their offensive coordinator. I would say a month ago, Jerry Jones did not know who Christian Parker was. And I will say a month ago, I did not know who Christian Parker was, nor did 85 to 95% of Cowboys fans and your listeners right now know who Christian Parker was.
Maybe even higher.
So, right. So, but yes, this was a Schottenheimer-directed search when you can just look at the guys that they talked to throughout the process. And Jonathan Gannon was the guy that filled the mold of what they used to have, former head coach, former defensive coordinator. The way it was explained to me, he wasn't even the runner-up for the job. The runner-up was the Minnesota passing game coordinator, Durante Jones. So if Parker had got another job or went somewhere else, Jones would have been the guy. And then maybe you get on to Jim Leonard as well, but the Cowboys can't talk to him or nobody can talk to him until his season ends at this point. So they believe that they've found a young, up-and-coming coach that fills a lot of requirements for the NFL game today. And I'm trying to remember a defensive they've never had a defensive coordinator this young in my time of covering the Cowboys. And I think it's maybe the youngest coordinator period in team history.
I'm with you. And again, I didn't know who this guy was. That's one of the things that I think I like about it, because he is one of those rising stars that everybody talks glowingly about in the coaching circles. Those that know love this guy. And I think that has some fans excited. Plus, the work he should be able to do with the secondary outside of being a foot doctor. What can he do? What do you expect him to be able to do with this Cowboys secondary?
I'll start with getting a whole bunch of players in, and it's not just in the secondary, right? They need defense, they need pass rushers, they need linebackers, they need and secondary, and that's his expertise. And what's the thing that we always do, right? Like when a new coach comes in, we say, all right, which free agent did he coach? Oh, that's going to be the guys that they go after. And Zimmer had brought in Eric Kendricks from his time in Minnesota, was the quarterback of the Cowboys defense in 2024, actually played pretty well. Matt Eberflus did the same thing with Jack Sanborn. He got hurt, never really panned out for him. So, I went and looked up, okay, who are the Eagles' defensive core or Eagles' upcoming unrestricted free agents on defense? Well, the three guys that came to mind were Reed Blankenship, safety, linebacker N'Kobe Dean, and defensive end Jalen Phillips. It's probably going to require the Cowboys to do something that they've not done in free agency in quite a while, and that's spend at or near the top of the market for these guys. But I would say if you got one of those guys, that helps your new defensive coordinator teach his scheme, and especially at Blankenship, teaching the back end, which he knows well, that you can kind of breathe easier at night knowing you got a guy back there who knows everything that the coordinator wants, and that would help going forward. So it's almost like the easy part of this thing was naming the coach. Now it's getting the guy some players. That's where Jerry, Steven, Will McClay, those guys have to do a great job in the draft, but they can't just do what they've done in free agency the last 3 years. They actually have to make legitimate additions. And I'm not saying go spend, a 6-year, $180 million deal on whoever to go get a guy. But I'm saying spend more than you've spent certainly in the last decade on free agents.
Absolutely. Todd Archer from ESPN joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And as you were saying that, my first thought is, but will they actually go shop in free agency? And, this hire, almost like Clayton Adams last year, a little different than what they normally do. Maybe they will be more of a player in free agency because they understand the need. And quite frankly, I hope the urgency to win while Dak Prescott is on this current contract.
Right. And you hit it right there. And that's something that Jerry said. And it's always take Jerry's words with an abundance of caution. But he's talked about winning during Dak's time where he's healthy and playing at such a high level. So and he's talked about the great shape they're in cap wise after the Micah Parsons not re-signing him, and the players that they can add and the things that they can do. Well, okay, now go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to just try and trick everybody into thinking you're going to do something, but I think after 30 years, heck, it's probably after 5 years if we're being honest, but people are tired of the same old stuff being told to them. And now I think you're hearing a frustration level that has been as high as I ever remember at my time covering this team, that it's time now. It's about the actions and not just the words for Jerry. And if he does have all this cap space available that they can make, he does have the ability to go get players through that with that cap space. They have the flexibility in the draft to go do some things. Okay, do it. Don't just talk about it. Actually go ahead and do it.
It'd be nice. Todd, when you think about Christian Parker coming in as the defensive coordinator, a lot of talk about Aaron Whitecotton, and I thought it was interesting on Hard Knocks, especially towards the end when it was pretty obvious that Eberflus was going to be out, that Whitecotton had his shining moments, if you will, during Hard Knocks. And I was wondering, with what those producers are hearing, what are they hearing that they keep featuring Aaron Whitecotton, like his appearance, in the meeting room with the defensive lineman, or even when Schottenheimer was telling the staff that Eberflus was let go, the cameras kind of zeroed in on Aaron. Will he stay? Do you expect him to stay? I know he's got an interview coming up with Tennessee, but if he doesn't get a coordinator job somewhere else, do you expect him to be retained? And what other members of that staff do you think will be retained, or will it be a whole new defensive staff?
So my expectation, and it's just my guess, I'm not reporting anything. No one needs to pull out any kind of quote of what I'm about to say here. My guess is that since he has the working background with Robert Saleh from their time together with the Jets, that he is the leading guy to become the coordinator in Tennessee. So the Cowboys can't stop him from taking that job, and I know that they've already kind of tried to set up some interviews with some other guys to maybe to be ready to replace Whitecotton if necessary. So they're already maybe planning for that to a degree. As far as the rest of the staff, there might be one or two guys kept, but I don't think it'll be anybody at like the main positions. And it's hard to make the case to keep the guys if we're being honest. I mean, this was a bad defense. And again, is it all the coach's fault? No, it's not all the coach's fault, but it's easier to go find new coaches than it is to go find a whole bunch of new players that you have to go get. So I would say maybe a couple of the defensive coaches remain, maybe. But my guess right now, and it's purely just a guess, even if it's slightly educated, is that Whitecotton will become Tennessee's defensive coordinator. If he doesn't, I would still put his chances of returning at 50-50. I mean, just because he might have opportunities elsewhere, and the Cowboys might want to just start over fresh with people that Christian Parker has worked with. But I know that they want to talk to some of the guys and have Christian Parker talk to some of the guys. But I'm sure in the interview process he had names ready to say, if I get this job, here's who I would go and get to fill these positions.
It'll be fascinating, especially with a guy being a first-time coordinator and being so young, even though he has been at Denver and, in the college ranks with, the Mike Elkos. The people that he has worked with is certainly impressive. But then you start wondering, well, who does he really know that he can bring with him? And again, there are going to be a bunch of names that most of us don't know anyway.
Yeah, but you mentioned the tree that he comes from. He worked with Elko. He worked with Mike Pettin. He counts Jerry Gray, longtime NFL assistant coach, Texas guy.
Yeah.
And now I'm drawing a blank. Considers him a mentor. So he's got a lot of connections in the league, whether he worked directly with or for those guys, and people speak so highly of him that I'm sure there's a lot of people want to kind of attach themselves to this guy. If he is eventually going to be a head coach somewhere, then that's the guy you will kind of want to be with. So, I don't know how deep his roster goes because he is only 34. But again, from talking to people that I know across the league for a while, there's people that we'll step out on a ledge for the guy to say he's going to be really good.
Todd Archer from ESPN joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. When you think about some of the other offseason moves that the Cowboys have to make, and, this was the first one. Find your new defensive coordinator after they decided to make the change. Now you've got to decide on a couple of players. Do you expect what happens with George Pickens? What do they do with Javonte Williams? Do you think some of those guys on the one-year prove-it deals that played well will be back in Dallas?
Yeah, I think Pickens will just put him down for the franchise tag right now, right? So every story and every segment that you guys had last year where you talked about Micah Parsons, just replace Micah's name and just put George Pickens' name in there, even if Micah wasn't on the franchise tag. But, will he take part in the offseason program? Will he have a hold-in? Will he talk to Jerry? Will Jerry talk directly to him about a contract? How upset will the agent get? All this stuff. So, yeah, I would anticipate all of those things with the pick and stuff. I know at the end, when the season ends, they want to re-sign Javonte Williams. And now there's a cutoff point of, price tag. And if Javonte Williams is going to get, help me out with a number, $10 million from somebody else, I don't think you'll see the Cowboys go there. But if it's $7-8 million, okay, I can see the Cowboys going there. Because in their mind, they can say, well, the last 2,000-yard rushes we had, one guy was an undrafted free agent, and one guy was a dude we just paid $3 million for. We can find a running back, and oh, by the way, maybe there's a couple guys in the draft he can go get too. So, I don't know how much they would stretch to keep Javonte Williams, but I know they absolutely want to keep Javonte Williams. And then the other guy was Jadeveon Clowney, who 8.5 sacks. Pretty impressive considering he didn't play until, week 3 or 4. The way he ended the season was strong. I want to, without knowing fully what Christian Parker is going to do defensively, does he fit that scheme and what he wants? When you look at the background that he has, we'll find out. But that was a guy that the Cowboys wanted to keep. When did the season end? Just January 4th. So January 5th, they were talking about keeping Jadeveon Clowney, and he'd like to be back as well. So maybe there's a deal to be worked out there. But the other guys, I think it's if other guys come back, I think they'll be at the Cowboys' price, and maybe even at a discounted rate.
And Todd, you mentioned the dollar amount for Williams. How much does Jaden Blue factor into that? Even though that dude couldn't get on the field last year, and I'm sure you heard some stuff going on, but what is his future with the Dallas Cowboys?
Hey, I don't think it will impact what they want to do with Javonte Williams. I mean, as much as he's a Texas guy, and we all know who he is, and he looked fast when we saw him, blah, 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 still a fifth-round pick. And he played, 90 snaps? I don't even know if it was that many during the course of the season. So, I don't think that impacts what they do with Javonte Williams. If they lose Javonte Williams, I think they go out and find another running back. I don't think that you would see them go, okay, Jaden Blue's our starter, or Phil Moffitt is our starter, or who was the other guy? That Malik Davis is our starter. I think you'll see the Cowboys go out and find another running back to pair with all those guys. We're learning shoddy code, right? Like during the first year of when there's something that a player needs to work on. And, Shoddy wasn't hiding what he was feeling about the kid, because he was telling us he needs to learn to be more professional. He needs to know that everything gets noticed and you're always being evaluated. Well, when you're not playing, that tells you they don't like what they're seeing in the practice field, in the meeting room, in the weight room, in the whatever room, right? So, and he played at the end when the two guys ahead of him got hurt. And he had a good first half, and the second half, everything kind of fell apart for everybody. But I don't think the Cowboys go in there thinking, okay, we're set at running back because we have Jaden Blue. I think even if they lose Javonte Williams, I think he's a guy that right now he's competing for a backup job, not to be a starter.
Todd Archer from ESPN here on the Blitz. Before we let you go, Todd, championship weekend, who do you think's going to make their way to San Francisco?
Well, since every time a DeMarcus leaves the Cowboys and goes to another team, he seems to go to a Super Bowl. So DeMarcus Ware, it happened to when he went to Denver. So I'll go Seattle with DeMarcus Lawrence. And then, I grew up in Massachusetts, was not a Patriots fan growing up, but for all those long-suffering Patriots fans that have had to wait, 7 years for Super Bowl. Boy, why not just put the Patriots back into that game as well? So we'll have the Malcolm Butler rematch of the Patriots against the Falcons years ago when he picked off the pass in the end zone.
The long-suffering Patriots fans having to wait 7 years.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, it just feels so happy for all those people up there.
Hey, if Bo Nix were healthy, would that change your opinion?
Probably so. Yeah, I think Jarrett Stidham's going to be play better than people think, because I think so much of what Sean Payton can do, and what that staff can do, from Davis Webb to Pete Carmichael to I'm forgetting Joe's last name right now, but there's a lot of people on that staff that Sean's worked with for quite a while in New Orleans, and I think if they lose, I don't think it would be because Jarrett Stidham has 5 interceptions. I think they'll lose because they just got outplayed by a team that was, playing in it with an MVP type quarterback, and the Broncos lost their starter. That's a huge. How would you feel if you're a Cowboys fan if you lose Dak going into an NFC title game and you turn it over to Joe Milton? It's the same kind of thing. Right?
It would be, except for the Cowboys in an NFC championship game. And it would be the Cowboys' luck. They finally get there and their quarterback breaks an ankle doing whatever. Part of me wishes that could actually be a problem someday for Dallas.
We'll see, maybe.
Good stuff. Todd, stay warm up there. Stay safe up there in Dallas. I know the weather is going to be worse there than here, but should be a great football weekend to be indoors just watching TV all day Sunday.
Absolutely. Hopefully it'll be warm. I bought 27 cases of water, so hopefully I'll be okay in the next 5 days.
And plenty of toilet paper, I assume, then, if you got all that water.
Yeah. Exactly.
Good stuff. Appreciate you, Todd. We'll talk soon.
You got it.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Todd Archer from ESPN here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Coming up, we'll talk more about Christian Parker, the new DC. We'll give away some Parker McCollum tickets as well. And the Spurs, they did something last night that we haven't seen them do in a while. We'll get into that as we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Rollins, were you at the fight?
To tell you the absolute truth, no one called me.
Were you just sitting there on your couch?
Technically, I was laying in bed with my supermodel wife in a mattress full of money. And
was she nude or was she clothed?
She was nude.
She was nude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You should have seen it. You guys should have been there.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
There's a reason why we say Connecticut is the last water softener you'll ever own. Call us at 656 PURE. We'll change your water, and it'll change your life.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Connecticut. SA.com.
License number 38961.
Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Trust and Will.
My dad and I were always close, but some things we just didn't talk about, like his will. After he was gone, we
Found out he didn't have one, and it created a lot of stress during a time of grief.
Creating a will can be hard to think about, but avoiding it can lead to greater difficulty for the people you love. That's why Trust and Will makes estate planning simple. Create a will online in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I have a will in place to make sure my loved ones are protected. With Trust and Will, it was easy and affordable, and I got peace of mind knowing my wishes are clear.
Trust and Will.
Get 20% off when you visit trustandwill.com/plan. That's trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, I'm giving my hair salon a total makeover.
Total makeover sounds totally expensive.
We updated our logo and colors, so I needed to print new signage, brochures, business cards, everything.
Everything will not be cheap.
Staples did it all, and I saved $100 on my order.
$100? Trim my whiskers, that's a good deal. For everything your business needs to print, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 1/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
The second I see that Chick-fil-A text in the group chat, I'm throwing my shoes on and running out the door.
Hey, I'm Layla.
And I'm Kaylin.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is
how it feels like an easygoing morning.
The chicken adds the most flavor. It's juicy and seasoned.
The biscuit is just very light and airy and fluffy, just like a cloud.
I also love to put jelly on mine so it's sweet and savory.
It's a good start to the day.
Mornings are a little bit brighter with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit and Simply Orange Juice. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It's championship weekend in the NFL. It's Sunday. We find out who's going to San Francisco to play in the Super Bowl. And you can catch it all right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Starting Sunday at 1 with the Denver Broncos hosting the New England Patriots. In the NFC side of things, we'll get the Seattle Seahawks as they play host to the Los Angeles Rams with kickoff for that one set for 5:30.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Friday afternoon. Heading into championship weekend. Winners on Sunday will meet in San Francisco. And for those watching on YouTube, you saw me just at the beginning sending a text because I just got the confirmation for Rob Thompson's favorite guest locked in for Radio Row in San Francisco.
Andrew Zimmern?
Andrew Zimmern.
Woo!
Yep. Yeah, Rob was really worried about that one.
It's the only one he cares about.
It's really the reason why he wants to go. It really is the reason that Rob Thompson wants to go.
I swear, he could just do a show with Andrew for 3 hours by himself.
You know, he could. And those two, at one point, I thought we were going to have to get a restraining order because Rob was humping this dude's leg.
I was gonna say he wasn't about to. He was.
And then that conversation carried over. We were at a Super Bowl party, and Rob had this dude trapped, and he was so trying to get away. And now they're buddies. I mean, you know, it's one of those. But of all the people that you could see on Radio Row, and that we get to, you know, you become friends with over time, and you know, I mean, not like buddy where you're texting all the time, although I do think Rob probably does that with Andrew. But, you know, where they know you as soon as they see you or you see them at the parties, the social aspect of it.
It's like when you see Michael Irvin and across the room, he'll be like, ah!
But I mean, you know, Michael's a friend, right?
Yeah.
At this point. But, there's people that you see and, you don't text with all the time. And it's just fun. But with all the different people there, that's the one that, that's Rob's every year. His goal, man, is, spending that time with Andrew. And, I was talking to Rob earlier. I'm like, yeah, man, they got a new PR person, this girl, Julie, who was great to work with for like the last 10 years. She took another job. The new person hasn't got back to me. She just did. Which makes me wonder if Rob texted Andrew earlier saying, dude, who's the new girl? Who's booking you? Let's get this done.
You just made Rob's whole week.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know. That means Rob's buying all the beers tonight out at Sam's Burger Joint.
Yeah.
We're meeting down there later for the Passing Stranger show.
Yeah.
Should be a good time. Now, speaking of, I know tomorrow night the show at Sam's has been postponed. It's going to be rescheduled. I saw Greenhall post earlier that they're closing Saturday at 8. A lot of places are going to do that. So whatever your Saturday night plans are, before you go, especially if it's something with tickets, make sure that event is still on, because the weather is going to suck. And we know that. Plenty of warning. It's not going to be as bad. I saw my buddy Aaron Smith from the band Kingdom Collapse. He just posted the empty shelves at H-E-B. And I'm surprised because it looks like he was in a meat section. So I don't know what the hell he was doing, because all he knows how to make are frozen meals. Or maybe it was just the wowness of all these empty shelves. But food, the milk, the eggs, the toilet paper, the bottled water, I mean, all of it. People have, and it's not so much that you're going to be stuck for that long, but also all these trucks that are going to be dealing with this in parts of the country that is far worse than it's going to be in San Antonio. The deliveries are going to be delayed, which I think is a big part of why the run. It's we all make fun of it, yet we all do it. So stay safe out there this weekend. Stay warm, and if you have your Saturday night plans, especially if it's some sort of event where you needed tickets, make sure it's still on. If you're hanging out watching UFC at, say, the Rue Pub, know that based on what Bill Taylor told us earlier, 9-10 after midnight, that's when the roads are going to get crappy. And what we have experienced here before is, even if you're being smart and responsible by not driving, knowing that you're going to the bar, there's a whole bunch of Uber drivers that are going to decide not to work. And if I remember correctly, the Uber pricing will surge because there's going to be fewer Uber drivers out there. Now, there's going to be some that are going to be like, all right, I'm going to go make the money. Just be smart. Just be smart. And keep in mind, some of your places might decide to close early because they care about you, but they also care about their employees. They don't want their employees, closing up and driving in this crap at 4 a.m. When we talked to Bill Taylor earlier, he said he planned on leaving the TV station to drive home at about 2 in the morning. So, and if Bill, who is giving the warnings, is saying that, he thinks he'll be fine at that point, it's earlier, like getting up for church services where Bill works at a church, they've canceled their early session. So I'm kind of using that as the gauge. It's kind of like when you deal with flight delays. And I imagine there'll be flight delays tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I'm on a plane tomorrow morning. But when the pilot says he can't go, I'm good with that. I mean, I'm mad. Don't get me wrong. I hate him just like everybody else does. But I know that pilot wants to take off and land just as much as I want him to be able to land that thing. And so when they say they can't fly because of a mechanical thing, cool. Because
you know better than me.
I mean, if you're not willing to fly this bird, I'm not willing to sit on it. Kind of. That's always been my philosophy. I hate flight delays like everybody else, but at the same time, I know that guy wants to go home. And there's two of them in there, so, even if there's a debate on one, the other guy wants to go home, right? We all know that. So this is just going to be one of those crazy weekends where you got to get in there and stay warm, have your toilet paper, have your water, have your beer, and be ready to rock and roll.
So you're saying prepare yourself.
Or not.
Wrap your pipes, get your beer.
Pretty much. I mean, it's your typical weekend philosophy anyway, Pledge.
It is.
You know, as a young single guy, or not so young single guy. But yeah, I mean, tonight, if you haven't wrapped your pipes yet, wrap them. I was talking to a friend of mine. He has a bunch of cactus, and he was moving. He must have a ridiculous amount of cactus, but he was moving all his cactus inside the garage. You know, it's a great hobby until you get days like this, and you go, well, what am I thinking? What am I doing? You know, if your plants outside, I mean, you know, we've all dealt with this before, but we all act like we've never dealt with this before.
I mean, last night, after work, was like, I don't want to go over the weekend because I don't know what the weather is going to be like and when it's supposed to turn bad. I went out to my mom's in Canyon Lake, started dripping all of her faucets for her.
Which is smart.
Wrapped her pipes outside, dripped every faucet in the house.
Now, you don't have to drip every faucet, but, you know.
I am.
But you are. Now, Pledge, you've never had your own home before.
I've got the little covers on the spigots outside.
You got the Home Depot and you bought the covers?
I got the covers.
Feel like you're a real adult now? You've got to go cover your faucets outside. Did you even know you had those things?
No, actually, the guy that we're renting from dropped them off for us.
Oh, he dropped them off.
He bought us some and dropped them off. Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
Yeah, that makes sense because... Well, he knows.
He knows.
You don't know what the hell that's going on.
He knows exactly who I am.
And if a pipe breaks, you're calling him, and he's got to go fix it. So, almost. See, and then my buddy that lives in New Jersey that's listening says it's a weak gas storm. You guys are, I can't read that word, but you know what he said.
Look, we don't get to deal with this all the time. Thank goodness.
And just, you know, Chip just texted, the Roo Pub's open. They're gonna be open. They're always open. And that kitchen's gonna be open late like it always is.
Hungry.
And with the UFC going on, it'll be fine. And I imagine not only Roo Pub, but probably all of the bars in the
Angry
Ingram
Elephant.
Bar Group. Angry Elephant, Shindig, Deuce, Bubbles and Bourbon. Can you name them all?
Salty Dolphin.
The Big Blind. Well, down in Rockport, I think they're going to be fine.
Broadway 50-50.
Broadway 50-50. There's plenty of places to go spend your money with Ingram Bar Group. They're going to be open.
Skinny Pig.
Skinny Pig. It's about to have. Did they just have their grand opening, or are they about to?
They just had it, I think.
All right. Good spots.
Great spots.
Good spots. Let's talk about the Spurs coming up. This was a great Spurs segment. They weren't ice cold last night in the fourth quarter. Thank God. Let's talk about that win they got last night against Utah. Coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Want to talk to you about the Golf Club of Texas. Look, if you haven't been out to the Golf Club of Texas lately, you have not been out to the Golf Club of Texas. I love it out there. They have improved that golf course 100%. New fairways, new greens, new golf cart paths. It is just a spectacular place. In fact, you might think it's a private country club, but it is not. It is open to the public 7 days a week, and they have some of the friendliest staff you will ever see. I know it's going to be cold this weekend. If you don't want to play golf in the cold, let me give you a tip. Head on out to the Tin Cup Bar and Grill and watch football. Perfect place to take in the NFL playoff action this weekend. They have every kind of cocktail you can imagine, all kinds of beers either on tap or in the can, and the food is simply fantastic. Head on out to the Golf Club of Texas. You know exactly where it is. It's right there off Briggs Ranch Road, off Highway 90. Whether it's for dinner at the Tin Cup or around with your buddies, your next tournament, go check them out. Best rates always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Hey, the big game is almost here, but every game is big when you play Prize Picks because it's so fun to be right. And when the big game comes around, I'm talking 2,000 times your money. But you got to remember something. That's the code Alamo. With $5, you can get $50 in free play when you go download the Prize Picks app. But when the big game hits, the specials are here, and we've got them. And I love Prize Picks because if my guy is winning, I can cash out early. That's one of the best things about Prize Picks is they take care of you you from beginning to end. Prize Picks offers 2,000 times your cash. I've heard all different numbers, not 2,000 from other places. So when it comes down to the big game, and it could be that big game or any big game, Prize Picks makes it a big game. Download the app, use the code Alamo, and use some big free money to play the big game. Prize Picks. Let me tell you how good it feels, because it feels so good to be right.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood prediction markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood prediction markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Hello, this is Jason Thompson, and as you know, I've been practicing law here in San Antonio for more than 30 years, helping people and families injured in traffic collisions. So I'm often asked, what is the worst thing you can do after a traffic collision? And the answer is easy. That's trying to handle it on your own without an attorney. Insurance companies have spent billions perfecting their strategy of paying nothing or as little as they can get away with. It wouldn't be David versus Goliath. It would be David versus a million Goliaths. You have no chance. Using AI for help is even worse because AI routinely gives dangerously inaccurate legal advice. It is laughably bad on the law. So bad that a lawyer filing a document drafted by AI will likely be disbarred in Texas. Keep it simple. Just call me. My name is Jason Thompson. I'll give you a free review of your case with no obligation to hire me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or my website, alawyerforus.com. That's alawyerforus.com.
Old Parker McCollum coming to the Frost Bank Center January 31st. Good Saturday night. Next Saturday, date night for you. Well, Parker McCollum. We got a pair of tickets to give away right now. It says it's going to have sold out energy. What does that mean? Not sold out, but we'll have sold out energy, or it's sold out and we've got tickets. I don't know what that means. I've never seen that phrase before.
Big concert energy.
All right. Dude, Parker McCollum is one of those rising stars. I mean, hell, he's already playing Frost Bank Center. We've got a pair of tickets we'll give them away right now. Caller number 12, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you don't win them, you can buy them because there's some available. LiveNation.com, so you can get out there and make sure it's sold out and give that sold out energy. Caller 12, you're going to go see Parker McCollum next Saturday night at the Frost Bank Center, home of the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, they'll be back at the Frost on Sunday against the Pelicans. I saw some people on our YouTube page earlier commenting if the Spurs game will be affected by the winter blast that we're getting. And at this point, the answer is no. The Spurs are back home already. Memphis is where the Pelicans are playing tonight. Now, they're getting hammered there in Memphis, too, but the Pelicans don't play on Saturday, so they'll leave Memphis and come to San Antonio. So, and by then, the road should be fine on Sunday night, getting to the Frost Bank Center to watch that game. And you look at this Spurs team with what they did last night. They put a team away, which was so refreshing. And quite frankly, we needed to see that. They're playing a bad Utah team, but it was a good game. Now, you look at what we saw last night when in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, the Utah Jazz made a huge run, and they got that game tied up at 99. And honestly, I wanted to throw my remote at the TV. I couldn't believe that the Spurs were about to blow another game, because that is what they are doing. The trend. They build big leads, they give up leads, and they lose to bad teams. And I was like, we can't do this again. You just did that to Houston. You've done that before to bad teams playing down to the competition. That game got tied at 99, and the Spurs then went on a run. And they made shots down the stretch. De'Aaron Fox was great in that fourth quarter from three, but they were also attacking the rim. They were getting the high percentage shots. The other night in Houston, they were just jacking up threes left and right and not making any. Last night, I thought Mitch Johnson did a good job of calling plays, attacking the rim, smart basketball, and obviously they were making shots, but also they turned it up on the defensive end. After it was tied at 99 with about 10 minutes or so to go, Utah only scored 10 points the rest of the way. 10 points in 10 minutes, you'll take that. The Spurs outscored the Jazz 29-17 in that fourth quarter. Mitch Johnson thrilled with the way they finished that game.
Our execution was good late. Defense picked up there, especially in the latter part of the fourth. And so it was a strong finish with not quite as strong everything else up into that. But Utah played their butts off. Will's doing a heck of a job. So obviously they get a lot of credit for that, but was happy with how we finished the game there in the end of the fourth.
And again, the other thing that I saw there that I really liked, outside of putting a team away, and that is what this young Spurs team has to learn how to do. They got to learn how to win those close games. They showed some killer instinct last night, played with some toughness, but also Mitch Johnson did some things out of the norm. Early in the game, going with Jordan McLaughlin, I forgot the dude was on the team. He hadn't played since November. Now, he didn't fill up the stat sheet by any means, but he brought the energy. He helped on the defensive end. And Keldon Johnson, the leader of that bench group, talked about how some of those bench guys that got minutes last night that aren't used to it were ready to go when their number was called.
I mean, those guys been working their butts off. It's been the dog days of the year, but those guys been stacking days behind the scenes. We have play groups, we have practice, and sometimes as lately, those guys don't really know when the opportunity gonna come. So to see, they come in tonight and J-Mac make a difference. Jeremy come in and give us some good minutes. Kelly gave us some good minutes. That means a lot because they've been working hard. They've been busting their butt to be able to be ready to come out here and whenever their number is called, take the opportunity. So they've been real professionals, and I want to give them their credit when credit's due, and they've been really working hard and giving everything they got and staying true professionals. So we appreciate the minutes that they gave us and being ready when the number is called, and it was big for us tonight. We needed a change of scenery. We needed different guys in there. We needed different energy, and those guys brought it.
Yeah, they certainly did, and Keldon has been bringing it. 21 points off the bench for Keldon Johnson, a dude that has certainly found his role on the team and embraced it. He's accepted that role, which dude deserves a ton of credit for when you think about his roller coaster ride with the Spurs, and there were times where if they would have shipped him out, nobody would have missed him. Now you would. And even, Mitch Johnson, we see what he's doing on the court. Other than calling them play groups, I do think Keldon needs to come up with another term for talking about the bench players in their play groups when they're at practice. It's almost like he's talking about a daycare center. Our play group is here, play group is there. But Mitch Johnson said if he's going to be the lead babysitter, fine. He's a great example for those young players.
Keldon is a prime example for every player, but especially young player, a kid out there, that he's making as many mistakes as everybody. But his energy and his effort and his competitiveness and his multiple efforts to get to the next thing is at such a high level that it allows him to find a rhythm and find himself in the middle of plays. And he did a great job on Nurkic, and we changed the matchup there because we were getting hurt. He did a great job fighting them, being physical, and I just can't say enough, and it's something we got to continue to do more as a group.
Well, they do, and De'Aaron Fox has mentioned clutch in the fourth quarter. Those are the kind of games, the kind of fourth quarters that you expect from a De'Aaron Fox. He finished with 31 points, 12 of those in the fourth quarter, all from three-point range. De'Aaron Fox has had a couple of bad games. Last night, he was solid. That's what you want from De'Aaron Fox. When he was acquired a year ago, that's why. That's what he is here for. And Keldon just talked about, D. Fox showing up in the big fourth quarter, playing those big minutes last night.
Terrific. He done showed up in so many big moments for us this season. Big-time players make big-time plays, and you can't deny that. He done did it at every level of basketball, and he continues to do that for us now when we need him most. And, without him tonight, it's a whole different game. But he'll never get the credit that he deserves. He's been phenomenal for us. He's been our leader. He's been a big part of what we're doing, and the team wouldn't be the same without him. So my hat goes out to him. Every day he comes in, doesn't have no ego, comes in and work. He comes out there, gives us his best every night, and that means the world to us.
It does. Although, not sure where Keldon was going with that. He won't get any credit. Hell, he should. I think he does. When you play with a guy like Victor Wembanyama, you're always going to be second or third fiddle. Vic is always going to get that attention. And so I'm glad De'Aaron Fox doesn't have that kind of ego, or Keldon, or Steph Castle, or Dylan Harper, because you got Vic. And Vic is always going to be the lead singer. He's always going to be the one that gets all the attention, and he should. But I'm not sure, if De'Aaron has said some things that made Keldon respond that way. And again, when you're winning games, nobody cares who's getting the attention. It's when you're losing games that you see all the finger pointing. Ask LeBron in L.A. right now, although LeBron doesn't care what anybody says about him. And if you believe that, right, it's kind of one of those crazy things. That was a good win for the Spurs last night. Now, granted, they were expected to win that game. They should win that game. But the way that game played out is what I think this Spurs team needed. They can do it, right? They blew a big lead, but they didn't just wilt and lose the game. It wasn't the same-o. You think about what Wemby said after the Houston game. Here we go again. Blow a 15-point lead and lose. They didn't last night. In fact, it got tied, and it looked like they got pissed off and started playing their best basketball of the night. And, yeah, they went on a big run, but I was more impressed with the defense they played in the fourth quarter, holding Utah to 10 points over the final 10 minutes or so. Just all around, total team basketball on both ends of the court. They did it. They knocked down some threes. De'Aaron Fox did that. Mitch Johnson was calling some plays where they were attacking the rim. It's complete opposite of what we saw in Houston, where they were jacking up threes left and right, missed 6 straight of them, and not even using any of the shot clock. Last night, they went and they played smart basketball down the stretch and put away a bad team the way they should. It should never have gotten tied. But when it did, they ratchet up their energy. And that's ultimately what I think all Spurs fans needed to see. Because I know I wasn't alone when that game, when Utah was closing the gap and then tied it, you're like, oh, bleep. They can't lose this one. And they didn't. And then they get the Pelicans coming up on Sunday. It's one of those games where, it's a 6 o'clock start. The NFC Championship game is going to be going on. It's where you got to either have 2 TVs or be at a place like the Rue Pub, because the Rue will have the football game on and the Spurs game on. I'm going to guess sound is going to be on the football game. Speaking of, who's going to the Super Bowl? It's championship weekend. Who you got? Who is going to the Super Bowl? Head over to our YouTube page and vote. We've got a poll up. All the different scenarios are there. Right now, Seahawks Patriots lead the way at 47%, which tells me everybody, about half the audience is going with the Patriots and Seahawks to win. Rams Patriots is second at 23%. Rams Broncos at 16%. Seahawks Broncos at 14%. You want to call your shot? Now is the time to do it. Go over to the YouTube page. Go to YouTube, search out San Antonio Sports Star, and vote. Predict this year's Super Bowl. If you want to talk about who's going to go in, you want to call your shot on the air, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. And truly, if you're picking the Broncos, I want to know why. Because with a backup quarterback, that's a bold prediction that a backup quarterback can win a game in the AFC Championship game. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. We'll talk about the 2 games coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, back from championship weekend. We have a Super Bowl set, Rob.
Thaw your ice out. Get your stuff ready. It is on the way. Super Bowl around the bend. We'll talk about how we're getting there. And, oh, by the way, the Spurs had a game or 2 as well. Get here early. Thaw out. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's talk about something that really matters. Soft water. Love it. You don't want the hard water we have here in San Antonio, and the best product for that is a Connecticut quality water softener. It's the most popular water softener on the market. They've been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. All their products made right here in the good old U.S. of A. And let me tell you, all of that is fantastic and doesn't run on electricity. That's fantastic. But what I notice when I get out of the shower, I feel fantastic and clean. My dishes out of the dishwasher, clean, sparkling. Clothes out of the washing machine, sparkling clean. That's what I like about it, the results that I get with all of those appliances that I just talked about. And you know that you're protecting those appliances for the long haul when you've got a Connecticut quality water softener. It is the absolute best in the business. Now, look, they are still having this special where you buy a Connecticut quality water softener, they're going to give you a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they're going to install right there at your kitchen sink. The beauty of that is it's like having bottled water right there at your kitchen sink. You will never have to buy bottled water ever again, and you'll have it right there at your kitchen sink. It is fantastic, and it tastes good. It is really good. Plus, they're going to give you free money. 0% interest for 12 months. That's an incredible deal. Don't wait any longer. Treat yourself, treat your family, and protect your house. 656 Pure is the number, 656-7873, or you can get them at ConnecticutSA.com. And you know the jingle. Sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656 Pure, Connecticut.
Okay, so your trophy's in the cabinet. Business is great. The growing pains are all in the past, and you're feeling optimistic. Now you're in big trouble. Because truth is, no matter how well you slayed your last quarter, the next one could slay you right back. And without a cohesive strategy and a scalable idea you can rely on, nothing is certain except uncertainty. Which is why for your next rodeo, you need the Next Rodeo. The Next Rodeo is a true creative partner that brings next-level creative thinking and production quality to companies who didn't believe they could afford it. So you can keep your company growing without outgrowing the dream that started it. The next rodeo. The difference between the business you have and the business you want is one great scalable idea. Get the full story at thenextrodeo.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Start the year in dry at North Park Chevrolet in Castroville. All Silverado 1500s get 1.9% financing plus an additional $1,250 trade-in rebate. Or buy a new Colorado for only $28,999. And the affordable Trax is only $346 a month with 0 down. Plus, all heavy duties have 5.9% financing for 84 months. Together, let's drive. North Park Chevrolet, 10 minutes by Loop 410 in Castroville. Must qualify. Call 830-355-2107 for full price and offer details.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagel off today. Glad to have you along on this Friday on the radio. Listening online at sasportstar.com, one of the apps. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate that as well. We got a poll up on YouTube where you can predict this year's Super Bowl. It's championship weekend. Who you got? Rams, Broncos, Rams, Patriots, Seahawks, Broncos, Seahawks, Patriots. Got about 20 minutes to get in there and vote. So go do that now.
Don't think I didn't see you.
What?
In the break.
What?
You know, a little chuckle.
Song Yadong.
Don't think I didn't see it.
Dude, every time I hear that commercial from Jim Rome, I laugh.
Song Yadong.
I don't even know who that is. Now, I know it's going to be a big UFC event. I don't know anything about
Song Yadong.
But I am interested. I'm curious. What?
You're curious about Song Yadong.
I mean.
Song Yadong.
But that whole commercial, right? Like, here, Rome, read this. All right.
Paddy the Baddy Pimblett.
And again, I'm not a UFC guy. I don't know. I mean, you want to know that? Ask AJ Hoffman. He could probably tell you all about
Song Yadong.
And maybe even pronounce it correctly. I don't even know if that's right. it just makes me laugh. Something else made me laugh during the break. And it really is surprising as a Cowboy fan, as a fan of Dak Prescott.
You're enjoying this.
Kind of refreshing, although I really was rooting for the guy. And I am a fan of C.J. Stroud. But my goodness, Houston Texans fans are giving C.J. Stroud the Dak Prescott treatment.
Looking for a real Texas flavor?
Try our brand new Houston Texan turnover at Stroud's Turnovers Bakery. Choose your flavor of chaos, the interception meal, or the pick six combo. Either way, it's getting served to the other team. And now, 4 turnovers for just half the price. Inspired by 4 interceptions in only 1 playoff half.
Dude, it's like a spoof commercial, far better than what Jim Rome read. A Texan fan friend of mine sent that to me during the break.
Song Yadong.
And I, of course, sent it to Pledge. Mike Vrabel's getting ready for an AFC championship game because of all those turnovers. And this weekend is going to suck for Texans fans. This offseason. And maybe for the first time in Houston Texans franchise history. 2 decades worth of we haven't been to the AFC championship game. Where you truly what-if yourself in the offseason. This isn't Deshaun Watson blowing a lead to Kansas City, although that was painful. This was, man, you have a defense that can go win. Just be adequate. Yet, C.J. Stroud was awful. I mean, it might have been, what was it, Tom Savage, your quarterback there for a hot minute? Trying to think of the other bad quarterbacks he had.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, Hoyer. I'm thinking
Sage
the tall guy,
Rosenfels.
Osweiler.
Oh, Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
T.J. Yates.
Well, T.J. Yates had a playoff win. The first ever playoff win in franchise history was quarterbacked by one T.J. Yates.
C.J. Stroud has 3.
Oh, I'm just saying. He's got 3, but never in the divisional round.
No Texans quarterback has 1 in the divisional round.
Again, but C.J. Stroud was the next. Outside of Deshaun Watson, and we all know what happened there. I mean, C.J. Stroud should go down as the best quarterback in Houston Texans history. No offense to David Carr, no offense to Matt Schaub. Deshaun Watson would have been. Would have been. We don't need to go down that path. But when CJ was drafted after that incredible rookie year, win Super Bowls while this dude's on a rookie contract, and this year was set up for that to happen. This is going to be a tough Sunday. A tougher Sunday, I think, for Houston Texans fans than Buffalo Bills fans, who also feel like they should be playing this weekend. And they're what-ifing for a different reason because, they're not going to talk about their turnovers from their quarterback. They're going to talk about the officiating and how they got robbed. Either way, and then the Broncos quarterback breaks his ankle late, somewhere along the way. Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. They waited a whole 7 years after Tom Brady to get back.
The painful life of a Patriots fan.
Well, and again, you guys have never been. I'm a Cowboy fan. It's been 30 years. You think about what the Patriots are doing in a 7-year span. The Spurs went 7 years between titles, but they had their main core players, and Matt Bonner, and the coach. And that's unusual to do. The whole building is turned over in New England, and yet they're back ahead of schedule.
To be fair, the Spurs would have. They were en route to a title with a whole different set of players.
When?
The Zaza year.
It was still Tim Duncan.
Duncan went on that team, was he?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you had Kawhi in the Western Conference Finals.
That was LaMarcus.
I think it was still Timmy. But that was more than 7 years. That was after 2014. Maybe Timmy was out. Was it 16, 17?
16 he left.
Gilbert's asking, what did Deshaun Watson do?
I don't know.
Google. What was his favorite pose?
Happy baby.
Don't Google that.
No, go ahead and Google it.
Don't Google that while you're at work.
There you go.
Don't Google that while you're at work. Let's talk about the championship games this weekend. You want to call your shot? You can vote on our poll there on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, or you can call us up like Vince, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Vince, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
What's going on, Jason? So I'm gonna make it simple. Both road teams win this weekend. So you got New England versus LA, and I'm gonna go with the Rams. Coach McVay has them rolling, and Matt Stafford, the Texas native, gets it done, and he retires. That's my shot right there.
All right, that's a great shot, Vince. Appreciate it. Taking both road teams this weekend. And it will be a question, if Matthew Stafford is able to win a Super Bowl this year, does he go out on top? So few do. So few do. But you think about Matthew Stafford at this point in his career. He's going to win MVP this year. And if he wins the Super Bowl, likely Super Bowl MVP, does he retire? Does he go out on top? So few guys do. And it would be great. You know, the storybook ending to be able to do that, I think that would be fantastic. Although, Vince, Seattle's going to win on Sunday. Although, that's the one game. Let's talk about both games. And if you're picking the Broncos, for all the people voting in our YouTube poll, Rams-Broncos has 16%. Seahawks-Broncos has 15%. Seahawks-Patriots at 47%. Rams-Patriots at 22%. So about half the audience, half the people voting, and you still have, about 10 minutes or so to get in there and vote. And I do want to, it's at 89 votes, get over 100, so go vote right now in the poll. If you're picking the Broncos, that's what I really want to know. Why? Now, I look at this game, and I've seen some think that this is just going to be a blowout because of Jarrett Stidham. I don't see it that way. I really don't think that the Patriots are going to blow out the Broncos. I'm picking the Patriots to win, but I think it will be close because of Sean Payton's game plan. I fully anticipate Sean Payton not putting Jarrett Stidham in a position to screw this thing up. The way the Broncos will have a chance to win is if Jarrett Stidham doesn't turn the ball over. And with that, relying on the run game, short passes, take shots when the defense gives you the look. And I don't think you're going to see him dropping back and, getting sacked a bunch and taking all the hits that you saw from C.J. Stroud. I just don't think Sean Payton will have a game plan that's quite like that. A lot in the screen game. The quick passes out to the wide receiver that are basically a long handoff. And if they go 3 and out and punt, that's a win for Denver. If you're Sean Payton, 3 and out and punt and put your good defense out there on the field and try to force Drake May into the mistake, that's how Denver's going to have to game plan this thing to win. And I do anticipate it to be somewhat low scoring. But Drake May, while he is an MVP candidate and has had an incredible year, has turned the ball over a lot in this postseason. And if he was playing an adequate quarterback last week, he would have lost Drake May with the turnovers. And there could have been more. I think Houston's defense was pressing so much last week. When the ball was on the ground, instead of falling on it, they were trying to scoop and score because I think that Texans defense felt like if they didn't score, they weren't going to win. So there could have been a couple of more fumble recoveries if they would have just fallen on the ball as opposed to trying to scoop and score. I do think Denver can keep it close. But ultimately, I think in the end, the New England Patriots are going to be on the way to San Francisco for Super Bowl 60. The NFC Championship game is, to me, just going to be, I don't know, it might be the game of the year. Their 2 regular season games are in the category for game of the year. The team split. Seattle damn near won them both, missed a 61-yard field goal. I look at the way Seattle destroyed San Francisco last week, and you think about what they did to the 49ers. You know, Sam Darnold, who was hurt, there were questions about his health going into that game, and you go, how? And the knock on Seattle is what? Sam Darnold's never done it. And we've seen Sam Darnold play a lot of bad football. Last year, 14 regular season wins, but down the stretch and in the big moment, he wet the bed. And I think a lot of people are wondering if the same thing will happen. Well, they had the first round bye, and then they destroy San Francisco, and Darnold plays really good football. Now, you look at the Rams and their defense. Can they turn Sam Darnold over? Yes. But I think that Seattle defense can neutralize that. I think the Rams are going to try to run the ball more than you might expect. You know, it's going to be cold, rain, but I'm impressed that Matthew Stafford won last week in Chicago. Weather, I thought, was going to be the difference maker a week ago for the Rams. Matthew Stafford's career numbers in crap weather like that aren't great. And the Bears still had a chance to win. I just don't know. You look at the way the Rams played at the end of the regular season, the way they struggled and had to rally to beat Carolina. Last week's game against Chicago, you could almost give a pass because the weather. They survived more so than beat the Chicago Bears. That's another franchise that's going to be watching on Sunday what-ifing themselves to death. I don't know. I just feel like it's Seattle. And then you got all this stuff with the new pope and whatnot. That tends to happen, and Seattle goes to the Super Bowl. All that stuff is there. So I'm taking Seattle and New England, but I expect both games to be fantastic games. Pledge, who you taking?
While I can see the NFC one going either way, and nothing would shock me, and you're right, Seattle is the hottest, playing the best football at this point in time. When it comes down to as close as it is, my difference breaker is quarterback play, and Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold in the NFC. On the AFC side, I just don't see a way that Jared Stidham leads this team to a Super Bowl. I just don't, especially with the way that Mike Vrabel has that defense playing. I think even a bad game, not a catastrophic game like C.J. Stroud, but like Drake May doesn't have to play his best football to get a win this Sunday.
You know, it's interesting, and I'm with you. 2 points on what you just said, just for debate's sake. The standard rule, best quarterback, best coach, that's who you're going to take. Sam Darnold, we haven't seen it, but he's been one of the better quarterbacks this year, but not even in the MVP conversation. Has his team as the 1 seed.
Yeah.
In a tough division. It's not like he was in the NFC South. I mean, that's a tough division. And he had to go win a game at San Francisco. We were at a wedding. We were at Chip and Charlene's wedding watching on your phone.
Yep.
And they won that game 13-3. So when you look at it, but we haven't seen Darnold do it on this stage. And they've got a second-year coach. We haven't seen what McDonald can do in this kind of situation. But that's, and he's a defensive coach. So I do think, there was a time where McVay was this up-and-comer, but we hadn't seen it before. I think we might be actually watching a little bit of a changing of the guard, if you will, and a whole new outlook on Sam Darnold if he gets there. But also, when you come down to Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Who do you want to see?
Who do I want to see?
Stidham Darnold.
I mean, you talk about an unsexy matchup, right? Now, at least on the AFC side, if Drake May is going, you've got a guy that is, projected to be one of the next, and he's proven it early in his career. New England got it right, damn it. They got it right. Drake May is fantastic against a Matthew Stafford. You would have, bookends of greatness, right? But the idea of a Jarrett Stidham, Sam Darnold Super Bowl matchup.
And the reason I don't take Seattle, the one reason, yes, he's played great this year. Every time the lights are the brightest on Sam Darnold is when we see his worst. And there's not going to be a brighter light than the final game of championship weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Although, do you discount the bright lights from last weekend in the divisional round?
Against a beat-up, broken down San Francisco? A little bit, yes.
I mean, that's excusey. I mean, the reason Kyle Shanahan's up for Coach of the Year is because of what they were able to do with that roster.
Mm-hmm.
They still have Christian McCaffrey, who I believe is the first dude in NFL history to be up for 3 postseason awards.
Yeah. I understand it. I know, but I didn't expect San Francisco. We all expected that game to be a blowout. All he did was what we expected.
I don't know that we expected it to be a blowout. I thought it might be a little high scoring because Brock Purdy's healthy. Christian McCaffrey's healthy. They did lose a George Kittle, which was a big loss, but you go back and you think about a 13-3 slugfest, and I think that's where what you're focused more on Sam Darnold than how good that Seattle defense is.
Oh, that Seattle defense is amazing.
And that's what Matthew Stafford is going to have to play. As we look at some of the comments on YouTube as we close some things out, Paul says, I feel like people are not giving the Broncos a shot but they have a good coach, and I see him coming in with a good game plan. May is a turnover machine. The Broncos D is good. I think that's why it's going to be close. Steven says, NFC game will be fun. AFC not so much. Antonio says, Seahawks because of Tariq Woolen, UTSA product. Pat says, Ram says, Pat's better watch out for Sam Ehlinger. Boy, if Sam Ehlinger gets in the game, it's going to be ugly. On the YouTube poll, Seahawks Patriots will close out at 47%. Again, you can listen to both games Sunday afternoon here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Rob and AJ will have first reaction Monday morning on the Morning Huddle. Joe and I back Monday afternoon at 2. Extra innings with Pledge coming up next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Stay warm, everybody.
The weekend.
From the San Antonio Sports Star studio.